Against L.A. this weekend, they can just about forget it. So says Warren Giles, the man who knows his baseball pretty well. Cesar Geronimo and Johnny Bench hit grand slam homers in each of 2 games against Atlanta Thursday in leading the Reds to a sweep while the Dodgers were blanking San Francisco, leaving Cincinnati 3.5 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. Giles was general manager and president of the Reds for 15 years and then president of the National League for another 18 years, retiring in 1969. Still spry at age 77, Giles takes in as many Red games as he can. A diehard Cincinnati fan, he says, "I still have red blood in my veins," pun intended. But Giles says the Red Dodger game tonight, Saturday and Sunday in Los Angeles, could mean the end of the line for Cincinnati's uphill battle to win the West Championship. I say if they don't win 2 of the 3, then their chances are pretty well washed up. I just don't think the Reds will pass the Dodgers by beating other clubs. No matter what the outcome of this weekend series, Giles figures both clubs still will win 100 games this season. This kind of pennant race with 2 great teams thrills my baseball instinct, he says. I still think of the Reds as my team, and I'm excited about it. Let's go back now to Dodger Stadium.
Well, hi, everyone. This is Jerry Doggett along with Ben Scully, and here we are at beautiful Dodger Stadium for the game between the Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds. Game 1 of the big weekend series. The Dodgers and the Reds getting all set to go. Pitching tonight will be Jack Billingham, 18-9 on the year, and an earned run average of 3.32. Doug Rao goes for the Dodgers, 13-7. Doug has an earned run average of 3.43. He got his 13th win against the Reds last week. Rao is 3-1 with Cincinnati this year and 3-2 lifetime. Billingham 1-2 with the Dodgers and 7-9 lifetime. Jack was the losing pitcher on Sunday when the Dodgers beat the Reds to make it 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. The Reds since then have won 4 straight. The Dodgers, including that one, have won 5 straight. So the Dodgers and the Reds leave head on here. And each game of the series will have a sellout crowd. We've already announced the sellouts for all 3 series, the games of the series. So if you don't have tickets, please do not come by. Send to the broadcast on ABC and the Dodger Radio Network, and then make your plans to join us for the remaining games on the homestand. The Dodgers will have Houston, San Diego, and Atlanta after the Red invasion. So we hope you make your plans and be here for some of those. We'll have the starting lineups and other pregame notes coming up.
Let's take a look now at the National League standings going into action tonight. This will include a first game of a doubleheader won by the Mets over Chicago 6-0. The Pirates are leading it in the East, but only a game and a half ahead of St. Louis and only 4.5 now ahead of the Phillies. Big thing again, we remind you, though, the all-important loss column. The Cardinals 2 back in the loss column. The Phillies are 5 back in the loss column. The New York Mets with a win in the first game are 10.5 back. Montreal 11.5 out. The Cubs are now 20 games off the pace. In the West, the races we explained between Los Angeles and Cincinnati, the Reds 3.5 games out, but again, the big point, they are 4 down in the all-important loss column, and they have only 18 to play. Atlanta is 14 games out, Houston 20 games back, and is window dressing San Francisco 25.5 out, and the San Diego Padres 59 games off the Dodger pace. A big race going on in the American League. We'll look at that in a moment.
Here are the batting orders now, and for the Big Red Machine, Steve Rose will lead off and play left field. Rose. Joe Morgan will be at second base. Johnny Bench to do the catching, batting third. Tony Perez will play first base. Dave Concepcion at shortstop. George Foster will bat in the number 6 spot and play right field. Cesar Geronimo in center, batting 7th, Geronimo. Baron Dreesen is the third baseman, Dreesen. And Jack Billingham to do the pitching, Billingham. For the Dodgers, Davey Lopes at second. Von Joshua in center. Bill Buckner in left field. Steve Garvey at first. Willie Crawford in right. Ron Fay will be at third. Joe Ferguson catching. Bill Russell at shortstop. At home plate. And Doug Rao will be doing the pitching. The umpires for the game will be Bob Engel at the plate, Frank Foley at first, Ed Sudol at second, and Lee Wire at third. This is the crew that umpired in New York in that 25-inning game the other night, and Eddie Sudol was behind the plate. The third time that Sudol has been behind the plate in a marathon ball game, and all three games have involved the Mets. So it's Engel, Foley, Sudol, and Wire, the umpires here tonight. On the message board, sorry, no more tickets left for Saturday or Sunday games. Tickets at all prices left for the remaining home games of Houston, San Diego, and Atlanta. The Dodgers, with the huge crowds assured for the free games here now, will have set a record as far as 50,000 plus crowds are concerned. They have had 8 crowds already this season, and this weekend series will run that total to 11. When the Dodgers established the all-time attendance record of 2,755,000, they had 9 crowds of 50,000 plus. So we're going to have back-to-back big weekends. Last weekend in Cincinnati, the 3-game series there drew over 150,000, and here it's going to be over 150,000, probably closer to 160,000. Well, we'll check the scoreboard, and the first report in the National League East is that Pittsburgh has come up with a run in the top half of the 9th inning and has tied Montreal 2-2. St. Louis is tied with Philadelphia 3-3, make it 2-2 also, and they're playing in the bottom of the 12th inning. Chicago now has taken the lead over New York in the second game 3-2. New York won the first game as Tom Seaver got his 11th win of the year, and for Seaver, another shutout, and he has an odd note on that. With 11 wins this year, and Tom picking up another shutout, that means that he has 5 shutouts of his 11 victories. Seaver shut them out in the first game. Atlanta will be at San Diego, and Houston at San Francisco. The Angels were beaten by Chicago tonight. Jim Cox shut them out in the first game 8-0, and the White Sox lead the second game 1-0 in the 5th inning. Now the Dodgers take the field. Baltimore beat Cleveland in the first game of the doubleheader and lead the second game 5-4 at the end of 6 innings of play at Baltimore. And Detroit knocked off New York. So the Birds have a chance to really climb up now. Boston is behind the Milwaukee 5-4 in the 7th inning. And Kansas City leads Minnesota 5-3 at the end of 6 1/2. And Texas is leading Oakland by a score of 2-1 in the 4th inning of their game in Texas. Dodgers on the field, getting an ovation as they go out. We'll have a capacity crowd on hand here for the ball game this evening. Ferguson will do the catching. And Doug Rao on the mound to do the pitching. Doug is not out as yet. He'll be out as soon as we have the anthem. At first base, Garvey. Lopes at second. Russell at short. Fay is at third. Buckner, Joshua, and Crawford in the outfield. Jimmy Wynn still has the flu and will not be able to play. Our national anthem now by Miss Rhoda Daniel of the Green Hills Baptist Church of La Habra, accompanied by Helen Dell at the Dodgers Stadium on organ. Now our national anthem. Miss Rhoda Daniel. The evening. First game of three, Dodgers and the Reds. The Dodgers, of course, lead the 3.5 over the Reds, and the Reds feel, in the words of Sparky, they have to win them all to get back into it, and of course, winning them all means they would only have a half game to make up then. So the Dodgers will try to stop them, and the Dodgers would hopefully try to win 2 out of 3, with 3, of course, would be a real bonus. 1 would not hurt them, but there's a lot on the line for both ball clubs here, and they've been scrapping all year right down to the wire, so it's come right down to this. The big series there, the Dodgers taking 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati, and the Reds have played better here than they have in Cincinnati. The Reds have won 2 and lost 4 here. They won 2 and lost 7 in their ballpark. They are a little better on the road than they are at home. The Reds on the road are 44 and 25. At home they are 44 and 31. And they have 12 games left to play on the road and 6 at home. The Dodgers have 13 at home and 6 on the road. So if the home field advantage means anything, the Dodgers certainly have a big edge there. The Dodgers have won 91 and the Reds have won 88. The Dodgers have lost 52, the Reds have lost 56. So there's a 4-game plus on the all-important loss side. Those are games that the Reds cannot make up. And also the Dodgers have 1 more game to play than do the Reds. So it's going to be interesting. A big weekend. A lot of excitement for all of the baseball fans in the area. Dodgers and the Reds ready to go at it toe-to-toe here tonight. Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, Sonny Perez, Dave Concepcion, George Foster, Cesar Geronimo, Dan Dreesen, and Jack Dillingham. Tomorrow night, Don Gullett and Jeff Dunn. Sunday afternoon, Freddie Norman and Don Sutton. Okay, we're all set. Time to play ball. The Dodgers and the Reds are now for the play-by-play. Here's Vince Scully.
Thank you, Jerry. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant evening to you. The Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds. Pete Rose getting a noisy welcome as Pete Rose comes up. He'll be followed by Joe Morgan and then Johnny Bench. And for the Dodgers, a nagging thought that they come into this very big series with not quite their best. Jimmy Wynn, who had hit 6 home runs against the Reds this year and had driven in 14 runs, is not only not in the lineup tonight. Wynn is a very doubtful starter tomorrow night. Rose takes outside ball 1. And also, there was Andy Messersmith soaking a swollen and sore right elbow in a bucket of ice in the Dodger dressing room before the game. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Rose. Fastball for a strike. Going to count 1-1. So not to malign Joshua or Rao or Zahn, but the Dodgers will do it with or without Jimmy Wynn and Andy Messersmith. 1-1 to count to Pete Rose. And the next one is over. He turned it over for a strike. 1-2. Pete Rose with 168 base hits, hitting .287. Rose against the Dodgers has been kept in check pretty well, but he's a tough hitter at all times. Rao deals and the fastball fouled away off to the right upstairs. 1-2. Rose has 11 hits and 2 RBIs in the series. You have 2 ball clubs come in with streaks. The Reds have won 4 straight and 5 out of 6. The Dodgers 5 straight and 7 out of 8. So the Dodgers, since they left home, they picked up a game. They left here 2.5 in front. They start tonight 3.5 in front. A change outside ball 2. 2-2. The Reds come in with their top ball club ready to go. Don Gullett will go tomorrow night, and Freddie Norman on Sunday. The Dodgers with Rao tonight, Gone tomorrow, Sutton on Sunday. Line drive, short hop by Davey Lope. Throws him out. The Rose hit the ball on the button, a sinking line drive that exploded right in front of Lope. 1 out. And here is Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan has hit 5 home runs against the Dodgers. 5 of his 20 home runs. Morgan with 62 RBIs. And against the Dodgers, he's piled up 19 hits and 11 RBIs. So the little man is big trouble. Doug Rao ready and deals. Breaking ball low. Ball 1. Joe Ferguson behind the plate. Garvey and Lopes, Russell and Say. Buckner, Joshua, and Crawford. Rao checking with Ferguson. Now dug into the windup. And the 1-0 pitch to Morgan. Fastball high. Ball 2. 2-0. Dodgers start tonight 3.5 in front of the Reds. The Dodgers have won 3 more, lost 4 less. The 2-0 pitch to Morgan. Inside and got the corner. 2-1. Morgan fell away. But Bob Engel said it got the edge. 2-1 to Little Joe. Morgan, who had sore hands, also hurt a leg against the Dodgers, but it didn't slow him up. He's hitting .297 with 20 home runs, 62 RBIs. He hurt the right hand against Montreal. He hurt the left hand falling against Philadelphia. The 2-1 curve is over. And a beauty it was. 2-2. So the quiet man from Columbus, Texas, Doug Rao, by to Texas A&M. Heaves a sigh, looks into Ferguson. Now Doug ready in the 2-2 pitch. Fastball is low. Fergie was all set to fire to say, and he missed 3-2. The Reds have hit 18 home runs against the Dodgers in the previous games. The Dodgers have hit 14. The Dodgers have won 11 of the 15. So here are the last 3. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Joe Morgan. High, ball 4, and that's trouble. Joe Morgan, among his other qualifications, has very impressive credentials on the base path. He has stolen more bases than Davy Lopes. He has stolen 58, and he has been caught only 12 times. And Johnny Bench, blazing hot, coming up, leading the league in RBIs with 115. Bench with 30 home runs and a .279 average. Yesterday, had 2 home runs, including a grand slammer, to drive in all 6 runs and win the second game against Atlanta. So Bench is at the top of his game as he comes in for the series. The Dodgers want to move somebody over, and Tommy Lasorda moving Joshua over a couple of strides. Bench has to duck under a pitch high and inside, ball 1. When Bench hit 2 home runs in the second game yesterday against Atlanta, it marked the 11th time in his career that he's hit 2 or more home runs in a game. We're not sure what Mike Schmidt is doing for Philadelphia tonight, but Bench is 2 RBIs ahead of Schmidt at the start of the evening with 115. So Joe Morgan held on by Garvey. That's a problem in itself for Rao. And Doug goes over there, driving Morgan back to the bag. Joe has been caught only 12 times. So when he goes, he invariably steals it. He doesn't go, and Bench takes high, ball 2. So pitch carefully to Rose, who hit one at Lopes. Pitching carefully to Morgan, he walked him 3-2. Now he's behind the bench, 2-0. Rao hands it aside, checking Ferguson. Now Doug ready. Another look at Morgan. He doesn't go, and the fastball is a big chopper foul outside of third. And the count 2-1. Boy, the good folks are here. Filled to the gunnels. They had the big crowds in Cincinnati averaging 51,000 a game. And from the looks of things and from what we've heard, we'll do better than that for this weekend at Dodger Stadium. 2-1. The count to Johnny Bench. Rao at the belt, looks at Morgan, double checks him, and goes over there. Joe back, and it was just an easy throw to Garvey. Doug Rao has started 30 games. He's completed but 3. A good throw makes it close. He was lulling Morgan with little commercial throws over to first. Then he really tried to nail him, and little Joe got back. 2-1. The count to Johnny Bench. 1 out. Morgan at first in the first inning. Rao checking, comes to Bench, and it's fouled away. 2-2. Rao completing 3 out of 30, comes in with an ERA of more than 3.4. 1 of his 3 games, a shutout. And of course, Rao, 112, then sputtered. Finally, in his 7th try, picked up his 13th victory. Another lob throw, and Morgan back to the bag. Rao at the belt, Morgan doesn't go, and the fastball fouled away. So it's still 2-2 to Johnny Bench. Rao won easily in April against the Reds, had no decision in a tough game in May. Then he lost in July. He beat the Reds in August, then he was the winning pitcher in September. Rao has has drawn one of the hot pitchers in the league, Jack Billingham. 2-2 pitch is a ground ball to Say. He goes to Davy Lopes low. He goes to Garvey. Double play anyway. The Reds are all over Frank Cooley. They thought Garvey came off the bag, with Say making a low throw to Davy Lopes. That allowed Joe Morgan to get right on top of Davy, and his hurry throw was down the right field line. And Garvey did a toe dance to grab the ball and stay on the bag. And Bench hits into the double play. No run, no hit, nobody left. And at the end of half an inning, Reds nothing, Dodgers coming up.
Now let's take a look at that tight race in the American League Eastern Division. The New York Yankees lost tonight to the Detroit Tigers 6-3. At the moment, they lead the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles by 2 games. The Red Sox still playing. The Orioles won the first of 2 tonight. They are trailing in the second game, however, by a score of 6-5 after 6.5. But at the moment, the Yankees are 78-67. The Red Sox 75-68. The Orioles 76-69. The Orioles and the Red Sox both 2 games back. Cleveland 6 games back. Cleveland is 5 down in the loss column. Meanwhile, over in the Western Division, the surprising Texas Rangers, 6 down to the A's in the loss column, are defeating them behind Ferguson Jenkins tonight, 3-1 after 5.5. The Rangers have a 3-game series over the weekend, and of course, in all probability, it could happen. The Rangers could possibly sweep it. If they do, that would put them within 3 games in the all-important loss column, and the West race wouldn't be over yet.
Bottom of the first inning, a stormy beginning as the Reds argued in vain, thinking that Garvey had come off the bag. A final score in the National League East, and that's going to get wilder by the day. The Expos just knocked off the Pirates 3-2. The Cardinals chasing Pittsburgh by a game and a half. And they're in extra innings. Steve Rogers won the ball game against Jim Rooker. 3-6-1 for Montreal. 2-7-3 for the Pirates. All right, Davy Lopes will start it off, followed by Von Joshua, and then Bill Buckner. And the Reds with Perez and Morgan, Concepcion and Dreesen, and outfield of Rose, Geronimo, and Foster. Bench behind the plate, and Billingham on the mound.
Davy Lopes.
Well, Davy Lopes hitting .273 with 8 home runs, 30 RBIs. And Billingham's breaking ball is low, ball 1. Lopes has hit in 19 of his last 23. Over that span, he's hit .360. The 1-0 pitch, fastball, and a fly ball to left field. Pete Rose is right there, waiting and makes the catch for the out. Now here is Von Joshua, and boy, what a big pair of shoes he's trying to fill. Jimmy Wynn, who had 6 home runs and 14 RBIs against the Reds. Wynn, who has hit 30 home runs and has 101 RBIs, down with tonsillitis, can't play tonight and probably won't play tomorrow. And so Joshua, who played the 2 games at Candlestick, is now asked to play a big role in this series. Off-speed pitch is dribbled back to Billingham, who throws him out, and quickly 2 down in the first inning. Hitting .315. He has a half a dozen home runs and 50 RBIs. Buckner with Steve Garvey to follow. No score, bottom of the first inning. Jack Billingham trying to win his 19th. The Dodgers hit him hard in Cincinnati. Fastball is low, ball 1. It didn't make any difference, however. They had a 5-0 lead, but it evaporated. Billingham into the windup, and the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed, 1-1. Buckner trying to golf a ball. Billingham has won 9 of his last 11. He lost 7-4 in his last start. A line drive grabbed by Tony Perez in the dirt. So Buckner losing an extra base hit on a line drive to Perez, and the Dodgers are gone, and at the end of an inning, no score.
Now look at the Major League batting leaders going into action tonight based on 375 trips to the plate. The winner in the National League is going to be Ralph Garr of Atlanta. He's hitting .354. Steve Garvey of the Dodgers, .326. Willie Stargell of the Pirates, 320. Richie Zisk of Pittsburgh, 319. His teammate Al Oliver at 318. Reggie Smith of the Cardinals, 317. Bill Buckner of L.A., 315. Willie Montanez of the Philadelphia Phillies, 310. Lou Brock of the Cardinals and Greg Gross of Houston, 309. Likewise, Rod Carew is going to win the American League batting crown. The Minnesota Twins second baseman is hitting 360. The closest competitor is Mike Hargrove of Texas at 335. George Orta of the White Sox hitting 318. Hal McRae of Kansas City, 313. Elliot Maddox of the Yankees, 307. Len Randall of Texas, 305. Jeff Burrows of the Rangers and Carl Yastrzemski of Boston, both at 303. Dick Allen of the White Sox at 301. Bert Campaneris of Oakland hitting 299.
The end of an inning, no score. The Dodgers and Reds. The Reds finished up on a disputed double play. The Dodgers finished up on a line drive by Buckner. And now in the second inning, it'll be Tony Perez, Davey Concepcion, and George Foster. Perez has hit 3 home runs against the Dodgers this year. Tony batting .272. 25 home runs and 90 RBIs. Show you what kind of a consistent ball player Tony is. He is the only active major leaguer who has had 90 RBIs each of the last 8 years. For a great money player, Tony Perez, Rao's slow curve is full foul down the left field line in the seat, and the count 0-1. The Reds playing very well on the road. They've won 28 of their last 37, and they've won 9 of their last 10 road games. Rao high and away, 1-1. So the Reds and Dodgers. Big series for the weekend, although it is certainly not the end of the world for either club. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Tony Perez. Fastball, ball to left field. Back goes Buckner, no play. That's gone. Halfway up the bleachers. Tony Perez hits his 4th home run of the year against the Dodgers. That's 19 home runs for Cincinnati this year against the Dodgers. Tony now has hit 26. Doug Rao has allowed 20. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, the Phillies are 2-2 in the bottom of the 12th inning. The pitch to Davey Concepcion is high. Ball 1, 1-0. So Billingham and the Reds have a 1-0 lead on the long home run by Perez. Concepcion hitting .277. Rao's fastball is in there, 1-1. Davey with 11 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Doug Rao checking Joe Ferguson. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Fastball hit down to Lopes. Davey is up with it. Flips across to Garvey in time. 1 away. That'll bring up George Foster, right-hand hitting right fielder.
Right fielder, George.
Foster hitting .255. He has 7 home runs, 41 RBIs. By the way, in home runs for the year, the Reds now have hit 121. The Dodgers have 126. Clean light. More ways than one around these parts. Pitch to Foster. Good breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Reds 1, Dodgers nothing. We're in the second inning. Tony Perez has just stuffed one halfway up the bleachers in left field. The next one to Foster is high. 1-1. After Foster comes the center fielder, left-hand hitting Cesar Geronimo. Rao's 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Strike 2. Rao was a doubtful starter. You had to worry about whether Doug could make it. And even while he pitches, you wonder how long he can pitch because he's been plagued by a blister on his throwing hand. The more curveballs he throws, the more spin off the fingers, the more liable he is to getting the blister again. 1-2 the count to Foster. Rao delivers, fastball outside. So the breaking ball in on the hands, fastball away, and the count 2-2. 1-0 Cincinnati in the second inning. Rao ready in the 2-2 pitch is a little high. Ball 3, 3-2. Ferguson in a crouch behind the plate. The outfield deep, a slight gap in right center. And the breaking ball got him swinging. So Foster strikes out on the curve, and the batter now is Geronimo. Geronimo hitting .299. 6 home runs, 49 RBIs. A couple of fellas we see back-to-back have had incredible turnarounds. The last couple of days we were looking at Dave Rader, the left-hand hitting catcher for the Giants, out of nowhere, hitting .290 all year. Geronimo hit .210 last year. He's been hitting close to .300 all year. He takes a good breaking ball. He flinched and gave up on it, and it came over anyway, 0-1. So Geronimo, the left-hand hitting center fielder, 1-0 Reds in the second inning. Rao to the windup, and the strike one fastball is over. Strike two. 0-2. Dan Dreesen, the left-hand hitting third baseman, on deck. Rao, strike two pitch. Fastball fouled away. A plastic Dodger helmet has been thrown out onto the warning track in left center, so they'll have to retrieve that and get it off the field before play is back in. 0-2 the count is Cesar Geronimo. Reds leading 1-0 here in the second. Perez opened up with a home run. Rao waiting for Ferguson. Joe settles in a crouch. 0-2 the count to Geronimo. Doug checking into the windup, and the strike two pitch. Breaking ball fouled away off to the left. He hits a curve off the end of the bat. Rao comes right back, and he's high. Ball one. 1-2 to Cesar Geronimo. Sparky Anderson leaning on the bat rack in the front corner of the Cincinnati dugout. He's already been on the field once. 1-2 the count. Rao comes back 1-2, and the breaking ball is up and in. Ball two. 2-2 the count. Doug pitching very carefully, very slowly. Billingham, on the contrary, doesn't waste much time. He gets the ball and pitches. 2-2 the count. Rao ready. Doug deals. Fastball hit to the right of Lopes. Davey up, juggles, drops it, recovers. No play. Even had he come up with the ball cleanly, it would have been a close play. Geronimo, left-handed and good running speed. So Davey was playing Geronimo to full. He had to go back and get it. He'll draw an error. And the batter will be Dan Dreesen.
Number 22, third baseman, Dan Dreesen.
Dan Dreesen, left-hand hitter, more of a line drive type, although he stung the Dodgers with a home run the last time we saw him. Dreesen at 283 has a half a dozen home runs, 55 RBIs. Rao looks over at first, checks Geronimo, comes to Dreesen, breaking ball away. Ball one. Geronimo, pretty good running speed. He doesn't run too often. He's stolen 7 out of 11. You might be surprised to realize that the Reds have stolen more bases than the Dodgers. The Reds come into this game with 138, 136, and the Dodgers 131. There goes Geronimo. The pitch is low. The throw is there to get it. So Geronimo is nailed on a perfect throw from Joe Ferguson to Bill Russell. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left. The end of an inning and a half, the Reds won, the Dodgers nothing.
The home run crown in the National League appears to be all Mike Schmitz of Philadelphia. He has 36. Johnny Bench of the Reds and Jimmy Wynn of the Dodgers, his closest competitors, with 30 apiece. In the American League, Dick Allen of the White Sox has 32, while Reggie Jackson of Oakland has 28, and Jeff Burroughs of Texas 25. RBIs, National League, the close battle between Bench with 115 and Schmidt with 113. Steve Garvey and Jimmy Wynn both have 101. In the American League, Burroughs has 113, seems to have it locked out. Sal Bando of Oakland has 100, and Joe Rudy of the A's has 90. Stolen bases, Lou Brock of the Cardinals continues to increase his record. He stole his 106th tonight. Joe Morgan of the Reds has 58. The American League leader is Bill North of Oakland with 51. Pitching based on the most victories, the leader in the National League, the man going tonight for the Reds, Jack Billingham at 18-9. In the American League, Catfish Hunter of Oakland is 23-10. Fergie Jenkins of Texas is 22-11. Also in the American League, Louis Tion of Boston is 20-11. Wilbur Wood of the White Sox is 20-17. Right now, let's pause for station identification. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Batting fourth, number 6, first baseman, Steve Garvey.
Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 in favor of the Reds. Steve Garvey will start it off. The umpires tonight are the same crew that just finished that 25-inning marathon between the Cardinals and the Mets. Ironically, the three longest games outside of that 26-inning game 50 years ago, the three longest played in the league, Ed Sudol was always the plate umpire. He's at second tonight. Fastball inside, almost got Garvey, ball one. And Ed Sudol, a very popular umpire and crew chief of this quartet, celebrating a birthday tonight. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Garvey. Slow ground ball to short. Concepcion waits, picks it up, throws him out.
Batting fifth, number 27, right fielder, Willie Crawford.
Just checking, and I guess for one reason or another, they do not give you umpires' birthdays. So they say happy birthday and leave it at that. One away, and here's Willie Crawford with Ron Say on deck. Billingham ready. Fastball is looped to right center field, but moving over is Geronimo to make the catch. And we can say one thing right now. We have seen Billingham pitch to 5 batters, and he is throwing faster or harder than he was the last time we saw him in Cincinnati. Nothing Red, second inning, 2 out, and here is Ron Say. Billingham's fastball drilled in there. So when they got him in Cincinnati, he was flat. He didn't have a good fastball, but he appears to have one working tonight. The next one is driven to left center, and back goes Rose. She's gone. His 92nd RBI, and the ball game is even 1-1. Say's drive was in direct contrast to Perez. Tony hit a mile-high drive halfway up the bleachers. Say's was a low line drive that just cleared the left center field wall. So they're all even 1-1, and it's ball 1 to Joe Ferguson. Say has hit 2 against Cincinnati, 1 in each park. Fastball is low, ball 2. 2 $10 books of Union All Auto script to Ron Say. 2 books to West Oahu Branch, YMCA. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Line to center. Base hit. There's a throw by Geronimo all the way back to first. Ferguson holding at the bag. And that'll bring up Bill Russell. Jack Billingham, he has worked 200 innings this year. That's the 15th home run that he has allowed. Gullett has allowed 19. So Ferguson at first with 2 outs. Say, line drive home run to get the Dodgers even. Ferguson a line drive single. The Cardinals haven't had enough. They played a 25-inning game against New York. They're going into the 13th inning against Philadelphia, all even 2-2. Here's Russell. Dillingham ready and deals. Fastball low. Ball one. Dillingham was the first pitcher in the league to win 15, 16, 17, and he's the only 18-game winner in the National League. The 1-0 pitch. Fergie goes. The pitch is strike. The throw. He's dead. Not sure if there was a sign missed or what. Ferguson was going, and Russell just faked the bunt. They might have just turned him loose. They did it the other day and got away with it when the catcher threw the ball into center field. Fergie, by the way, has 2 stolen bases this year, but he's nailed easily by Bench to end the inning. And at the end of 2, the Dodgers won, the Reds won.
Taking a look at Major League Baseball on Thursday, the Yankees are demonstrating they can win the big ones. New York, after beating Boston twice this week, shut out Baltimore 3-0. Mike Wallace and Dick Kidrow combined for a 4-hitter, and the Yanks got all their runs in the 8th inning. Another Major League play in the junior circuit on Thursday. Boston shaved Cleveland 3-2. Oakland edged Minnesota 2-1. Detroit outslugged the White Sox in 9 innings, or in 10 innings, that is, 9-7. That was Milwaukee they beat. Texas and Chicago was ringed out with the score tied 2-2 after 6. In the National League, the Phillies defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-4. Mike Schmidt getting his 36th homer. For the big fireworks came earlier at Cincinnati, where Cesar Geronimo and Johnny Bench of the Reds and Darrell Evans of the Braves clobbered Grand Slammers. Bench and Evans finished with 2 homers apiece, and Cincinnati swept the Twin Bill. In other National League contests, St. Louis smothered the Mets 12-5. Dodgers bombed Frisco 11-0. Montreal over the Cubs. San Diego over Houston.
Well, they're off to a great start. The Reds in the 2nd inning get a home run by Tony Perez. And the Dodgers in the bottom of the 2nd inning, a line drive home run by Ron Fay. So they're all even 1-1. Don Gullett and Jeff Zahn tomorrow night. And then Sunday, Fred Norman and Don Sutton. Now, the 2 games with the Reds, we have a special announcement. Both games have been sold out. So fans who do not have tickets for tomorrow night and Sunday should not come to the stadium. We don't want to inconvenience you. We wish we had 1 million seats, but unfortunately they're not available. No tickets will be placed on sale here at the ballpark tomorrow or Sunday. Of course, after that, there's still all kinds of baseball. Houston coming, followed by San Diego, followed by Henrietta and the Braves, and the pennant at stake with every game. So come on out here after the Red Series if you can't make it this weekend. 1-1 in the 3rd. More play-by-play. Here's Jerry Doggett.
One moment, please. There's a swing and a miss for Dreesen, and it's strike 2. Dan Dreesen waiting, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Doug Rao doing the work. Now the windup and the pitch on the way. Line drive into right field along the line. It's going to be in for a base hit. Extra bases correct. Bounces against the rail, gets away from Crawford. Chases it down. Dreesen's on his way to 3rd. He will be in there with a triple. So Dreesen triples into the right field corner, and that brings up Jack Dillingham. The ball got away from Crawford as it hit the concrete base on the curve and rolled all the way almost to the bullpen fence. And now the Reds have a go-ahead run at 3rd, and Dillingham coming on, not the best hitting pitcher. Dillingham with an 0.64 average, has 4 hits and 63 trips to the plate. The Dodgers bring the infield in. Dreesen able to pull that ball right down the line into right field. Dillingham takes a curve, strike, 0-1. After Dillingham comes Pete Rose. again, Ra delivers. Billingham swings on the curve. Strike two. The scoring on it is a triple, even though the ball bounced by Crawford. It took a bad hop in that corner. That's a tough corner to play, both in right and left field. Right with the foul pole and the curve of the box seats come together. The 0-2 pitch to Billingham. Fouled away on the ground behind the plate, and the count stays strike two. He got just a piece of it. Count. Runner on third, Dreesen. Here's the windup in the pitch. Fastball high. He gave him 3 curveballs and a fastball. So he's gone to a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Billingham. Tied 1-2. Rye into a windup again, delivers. Now the curveball hit back off right leg. Over to Say, picks it up. Holds the runner, throws him out. Well, there's a combination. Billingham hit the ball back to Rye, hit him on the leg, cammed over to Say. Say picked the ball up, looked at the runner, held him, and then threw to first base in time to get Billingham. So Billingham is out 1-5-3, and holding is Dreesen. And here's Rose at that. He grounded out his first time up. The Dodgers now go out to see about Rod. Ferguson and Say come to the mound. But apparently Doug is all right. The ball wasn't hit too hard. Got him off the leg and bounced over to Say, and Say alertly made the play on it. Rose at bat, 287 average with 3 home runs and 43 RBIs. Ball game tied 1-1, and the Dodgers will play the infield back now with Billingham, the pitcher, up there. They could afford to play up. But now with Rose up, they're going to have to play back and hope to get a strikeout or a pop-up. Rouse going to get to throw a few. He got whacked on the shins with that one. Making a couple of pitches down to Ferguson. And apparently he's going to be all right. Now he's down to tie the lace on his right shoe. And here's Rose stepping in. Dreesen on third. Ball game tied 1-1. And the Reds threaten to go ahead as Dreesen tripled into the right field corner. Here's the pitch on the way to Rose. Curve is low, ball 1. A home run and a triple for the Reds, a home run and a single for the Dodgers. The Dodgers on a 5-game winning streak, the Reds on a 4-game winning streak. Last time the Reds lost, the Dodgers beat them. Last time the Dodgers lost, the Reds beat them. Next pitch outside to Rose, ball 2. Morgan is on deck with Bench to follow. Third over the count, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Russell has it. He has to go to first base. He started to go home, but Dreesen has too much speed. The runner's in. They get the out as Rose grounds to short. For the infield back, that ball might have gone through, so they couldn't afford to do that. They had to play it back. Had they been playing up, they might have had a base hit for Rose. So instead, a ground out gets the run in, and the big play is when the ball was bounced by Crawford in the corner in right field. Got away from Woolley, and that set up the run. Had Woolley been able to trap the ball before it got there, he would have held Dreesen to 2. Here's the pitch to Morgan. Ground ball to Garvey. Backs up for it, carries it into the bag, and the inning is over. But the Reds got a go-ahead run on a hit. And none left on, and the score at the end of 2.5 innings of play, Reds 2 and the Dodgers nothing.
Let's take a look at the National League scoreboard tonight. In the first of 2, the Mets 6-0 over the Cubs. Tom Seaver pitching a 4-hitter to win his 11th. He's 11-8. Rick Russell, the loser, 13-12. In the second game after 9.5, it's all tied up at 3-3. Steve Stone, LaRoche, Zamora, and Todd have worked for the Cubs. Todd came on in the 10th. Nino Espinosa started for the Mets. Bob Apodaca in the 9th. Teddy Martinez homered for New York in the 7th, one on his 2nd. Andy Thornton in the 8th, one on for the Cubs, his 10th. 3-2 Montreal over Pittsburgh. Steve Rogers got the win. He is 13-20. Jim Rooker, the loser, 12-11. After 12.5 innings, St. Louis and Philadelphia tied at 2-2. Lynn McLaughlin. Then came Garman, Siebert, Folkers, and now Baer in the 13th for the Cardinals. Lonborg started for Philadelphia. Garber in the 9th and Schuler in the 12th. After 2, Atlanta 5-0 over San Diego. Buzz Capper, Randy Jones started for San Diego. Gearhart in the first. Mike Lum, a grand slammer for the Braves. Houston 2-1 over San Francisco after 2.5. Pitcher James Richard and a homer for the Astros.
Through the last of the third, Russell, Rao, and Wilkes now trying to get the Dodgers caught up in the game. Billingham warming up with Johnny Bench. Fergie made the last out after he got a base hit. He was out trying to steal. Big crowd, first game of the series, and the Reds now have taken the lead again 2-1. The Dodgers have beaten the Reds 4 out of 6 here and 7 out of 9 in Cincinnati. 11-4 with the Reds. The Dodgers against Western Division teams have won 52 and lost 19. They are ahead of all of them. And the closest is with Atlanta, 8-7. Here's Russell at bat. They have cinched, of course, the season series with Cincinnati with 11 wins. Russell takes a curveball for a strike, 0-1. 0-1 the count. Next pitch on the corner, strike 2. 0-2 the reading to Bill Russell here in the third inning. All right, Billingham checking again. The windup and the pitch outside with the breaking ball, 1-2. Bill drove in 4 runs in the game last night at San Francisco, and he has 62 on the year. 1-2 count. Big Jack into the windup, and his pitch to Bill. Fouled away on an off-speed pitch, and the count stays 1-2. Doug Rao is on deck. Ball and 2 strikes. Billingham ready, and the pitch is chopped toward third. Greason coming up the line. Up with it is clear. It's going to be way late. Russell keeps it out. Number 31. Doug Rao coming on now. And Russell is at first base with a base hit. Rao at bat now. The Reds now move the infield up looking for the bunt. Greason comes in at third. Rao has sacrificed 7 times this year, so he's a good bunter. Trying to move Russell over. Billingham ready. Rao bunts and misses. Strike 1. He got a fastball poured in that time by Billingham. 0-1 the count. No balls in the strike. Again, the look in the pitch. Rao around the bump, takes low outside ball 1, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Doug waiting. Greason in at third. Billingham set to go again. Perez holds the runner at first. They shorten up at second and short. The pitch butted foul, and it's strike 2, ball 1. So Doug can't get him over on 2. We'll see now if they keep the butt on. Rao has 9 hits on the year and 60 at-bats for a 150 percentage. All right, 1-2, the reading. Billingham backs off the rubber as Rao goes out of the batter's box. And he steps back behind home plate, now goes back into the box again. Out a 1-2 count. Russell opened the inning with an infield hit. Billingham set again, and Rao around the bunt, takes outside. Ball 2, so they left the butt on with 2 strikes. And Doug now will try to get him over. Davey Lopes due up next. All right, 2-2. Checking the pitch, full swing and a foul. So they let him take a cut at one, and he fouled it off. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Doug. Not too bad with the bat. He strikes out a lot, though. He struck out 20 of the 60 times, or a third of the time. As 9 hits, 7 sacrifices. Now the pitch, he's around a bunt there. That's the first baseline. He got it down nicely. And he advances the runner as Perez throws him out. But that goes him over on the bunt up the first baseline. And here now will be Lope. Davey flied to left his last time up. Davey has really been going well. He's hit safely in 19 out of 23 games since August the 18th, hitting .363 over that span, and picked up 24 points in his average from 249 to 273. Davey's had a great second half of the year. He was hitting only 200s at the end of May. He's gained 73 points since then. Now trying to get Russell to tie the game. A swing and a miss at a curveball, strike one. That pitch was a full curve. Davey, since the end of May, is hitting .303. At an 0-1 count, the pitch. Fastball too high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Russell on second carries the tying run. We're in the third inning. Billingham against Rao. The Dodgers beat Billingham and Gullett in Cincinnati. They lost the middle game. The 1-1 pitch outside with the curve, 2-1. In this series, they have Billingham, Gullett, and Norman. In the series in Cincinnati, it came up Gullett, Kirby, and Billingham. It's a rotation during the week scramble because of the rainout, and Sparky, one of the 2 youngsters yesterday, and he got away with that gamble against Atlanta, winning the doubleheader. Davey takes a strike, 2-2. He used Pat Diassi in his first major league start yesterday, and he picked up the win. And he used Tom Carroll in the first game. Diassi went 7 2/3 innings. So the Reds gambled and won that gamble against the Braves in that doubleheader. The 2-2 pitch, Davey swings and misses, strike 3. Curveball got him. So Davey down on strikes. That is strikeout number 1 for Billingham, and the batter will be Von Joshua.
Von Joshua, center field.
All right, Joshua coming on with 2 outs. Russell standing at second. The Reds lead 2-1. A home run in the second inning by Perez. Fay hit one for the Dodgers. Then the triple by Dreesen and the ground out. By Rose got the run in. The pitch to Joshua. Swung on a miss. Good breaking ball. 0-1. Billingham now going to his off-speed pitches, his breaking stuff. And he is serving up some pretty good pitches here. Well, we had a dandy in Texas tonight, and Texas beat Oakland 3-1. Here's the pitch. Way outside, ball 1. In that game, Ferguson Jenkins won his 23rd game, and his record is 23-11. Catfish Hunter lost his 11th game. His record is 23-11. They had 21,000. Texas picks up a big one against Oakland. All right, a 1-1 count to Joshua. Billingham set again. The look and the pitch to Bond. Low and away for the ball, and the count goes 2-1. The Rangers in that American League West are now 5 games behind Oakland. So they're the only team making any kind of a run at all in that division. That's the most wide open race of all of the 4 divisional races. Joshua takes again low, and it's ball 3, 3-1. The Dodgers lead by 3.5, the Yankees by 2.5, and the Pittsburgh by 1.5 before the action started today. All right, 3-1 count to Joshua, trying to pick up Russell and get the ball game even. Billingham delivers, and Bond swings a foul out of play, and it's 3-2. Bond is hitting .262, starting for the 3rd straight game as Jimmy Wynn is down with the flu. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second. Russell gets a pretty good lead. They ignore him defensively. Billingham looks, delivers. Bond strikes out on a breaking ball. Down he goes. 2 strikeouts for Billingham, and he gets him with a runner in scoring position. So the Dodgers go no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on, and a score at the end of 3 innings of play. Reds 2, the Dodgers have 1.
Now look at the American League scoreboard. First of 2, Baltimore 3-2 over the Indians. Mike Cuellar, the winner, 19-10. Dick Bosman, the loser, 6-4. Blair, a homer in the second, 1 on for the Birds, is 16th. Boog Powell in the 6th. Nobody on for Baltimore is 9th. second game, Cleveland leads at 6-5 after 6.5. Time has been called because of rain. Tom McCraw homered in the 7th, one on for the Tribe, his 6th. First of 2, Chicago 8-0 over California. Jim Cobb, the winner, 17-13. Chuck Dobson, the loser, 1-1. Ed Herman homered in the 4th, one on his 10th. Second game, 3-0 White Sox after 8 full. 6-3, Detroit over the Yankees. Woody Fryman, the winner, 6-8. Doc Maddox, the loser, 18-13. Lou Piniella, homer in the first 2 on for the Yankees, his 7th. Morris Nettles, second, nobody on for Detroit, his 5th. Ben Ogilvie in the 5th, 2 on for the Tigers, his 4th. 6-5 Minnesota over Kansas City in 10, and it was 3-1 Texas over Oakland. Ferguson Jenkins wins his 23rd, 23-11. 23-11 Catfish Hunter's record. He was the loser. After 9 full innings, Boston and Milwaukee are all tied at 5-5. Right now, let's pause for station identification. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is the Southern Command Radio Network, an affiliate of the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SCN to the zone. All right, the Reds come on. More play. Here's Vinny. All right, Jerry. Reds 2, Dodgers 1 in the 4th inning. Johnny Bench followed by Tony Perez, then Davey Concepcion. Bench hit into a double play in the 1st inning. It was a good play by Davey Lopes because he had to handle a low throw from Ron Say. And then an excellent play by Garvey at the other end of Lopes' throw because that was off the beam. The pitch to John is low and inside, ball 1, 1-0. Gap in right center. The infield swung around the 3rd and Bench waiting. For a 1-0 pitch to John, Rao deals outside, ball 2. So the Dodgers struggling, leaving the man at second, minus a mighty big firepower. Their lineup, of course, drastically changed without Wynn. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Johnny Bench. Change, line to left. Buckner, however, is there, makes the catch. Right on the edge of the grass, 1 step from the warning track in front of the Dodger bullpen. The Bench lines out the changeup, and the batter is Tony Perez. Hit that mile-high rocket halfway up into the bleachers in left field. Tony 1 for 1. Perez, 91 RBIs. Reds 2 runs, 2 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. Rao ready, fastball, and that's lifted to right field. Crawford angles over, he's there. Under it now and makes the catch. So 2 down in the top of the 4th inning. And Davey Concepcion, the shortstop, coming up. Concepcion grounded out. Hit the ball to Davey Lopes in the 2nd inning. Right-hand hitting shortstop, 0 for 1, batting .276. Dodgers and Reds jockeying for position. The Dodgers 3.5 games out in front. The Reds having to go to the whip. They've got to make a move, and now Rao deals and missed low. Ball 1. Sparky Anderson has revised his predictions. In fact, he has had to revise his predictions. You remember that great statement about September the 12th. The pitch to Concepcion is high. Ball 2. Now Sparky's talking about October the 2nd. 2-0, the count to Davey Concepcion. George Foster on deck. 2 out in the 4th. 2-1 Reds. Rao into the windup, and the 2-0 fastball missed. Ball 3. Say, if you're out in the Mojave area, be sure to listen to the Dodgers on KDOL, 1340 AM, 97.7 FM. Rao behind the Concepcion 3-0. Davey has 11 home runs. He looks at a strike. 3-1. On deck, George Foster. Concepcion checking again with Alex Grammas. George Scherger coaching at first. Brown nodding to Ferguson signs. Now he's ready, and the 3-1 pitch to Concepcion is high and away. Ball 4. So a 2-out walk. That's the second pass issued by Rao. And the batter is George Foster. Foster struck out in the 2nd inning on breaking balls, and we'll see what he gets this time around. Right-hand hitting right fielder George Foster. Concepcion, a very good base stealer. He's stolen 35, and he does it with ease. He has stolen 35 out of 40. Rao looking at him,
Now comes to the plate, and it's fouled away over to the Dodger dugout and rattling around down there. Tom Pashorek and Jimmy Wynn standing in the far corner of the Dodger dugout. Wynn with severe tonsillitis. He's a doubtful starter for tomorrow. 0-1 the count to George Foster. Rao goes to first, Concepcion back. Davey has stolen 35 out of 40. Boy, that's a marvelous record. And he has a good lead on Rao. 2 out, 0-1 the count. Rao checking and goes over there to drive him back. 2-1 Cincinnati. We're in the 4th inning. Each side got a home run in the 2nd inning from Tony Perez and Ron Say. And then Dan Dreesen's triple and an infield out got him home to break the tie. The Dodgers left the tying run at second base in the 3rd inning. There goes Concepcion. The curve is high. The throw, he's in there. Boy, he really steals them. There are a lot of fellas who get the publicity and who have stolen more bases. Naturally, Lou Brock, Joe Morgan, Davey Lopes. But that's some record. He's stolen 36 out of 41. Lopes has been caught 17 times with 55 wins. And Morgan has been caught 12 times with 58 stolen bases. 1-1 now, and time calls. The sailboat is going by center field again. So timeout. The Hobie Cat that will be awarded on Fan Appreciation Day, and they're trying to angle it. And, of course, with the mast sticking up, it's very distracting to the hitter. So we're waiting until they park the sailboat or the catamaran. And Bob Engel, I don't know if the umpires are aware, that must be quite a shock to somebody to be here umpiring and see a sailboat in center field. And now Ed Sudol is talking to Russell, and they've got it on wheels, and they're getting it out of the way. It'll be brought out, and it will be brought around the ballpark in the 5th inning for the crowd to see it. Okay, the catamaran has been berthed. 2 out, Concepcion at second, 1-1 to Foster, and the Reds leading the Dodgers 2-1. Rod Carew took care of Kansas City tonight, a home run in the 10th inning. Minnesota won 6-5. Pitch to Foster is high, ball 2. Johnson beat Bird. 2-1 to George Foster. George, 7 home runs, 41 RBIs. And now tied awaiting and backs out. Concepcion backing away from second. Rao out of a stretch. Comes 2-1. There goes Concepcion. The pitch is high. The throw is even higher. So Concepcion has stolen second and third. That's 37 out of 42 for Davey. We mentioned earlier he takes very big leads. So 3-1 the count of George Foster, and the left-hand hitting Geronimo on deck. So the Reds leading 2-1, trying to get another here. 2 down, Concepcion at third. Rao trying to concentrate on Foster now on a 3-1 count. Dug out of a windup, and the slow curve is high, ball 4.
Cesar Geronimo.
First and third with 2 out in the 4th inning. And Cesar Geronimo coming out. Geronimo was aboard on Lopes' error and was thrown out trying to steal. As far as Foster is concerned, he has stolen 2 bases. 2 out of 3. Held on by Garvey. Say is up a little bit at third. Concepcion down the line from third. Foster a cautious lead at first. And Rao trying to get out of the inning. We're in the 4th, 2-1 Reds. And the fast one picks up the outside corner for a strike. The Dodgers get their bullpen working now. Rao is not overpowering or very convincing. The Reds have had at least one man on in every inning. 0-1 the count to Geronimo. Lopes deep at second. strike one pitch on the hands and looped into left field. A base hit. He made a big, good pitch, and it cost him a run anyway. So Geronimo was jammed and thumbed it into left field, and there's not very much you can do about that. It was a good pitch, and a big league hitter still got a base hit with it. And it is 3-1 Cincinnati, and Dan Dreesen the batter. Dan Dreesen hit the ball inside the right field foul line. Crawford had trouble fielding it as it hugged the concave corner inside the foul pole, and Dan hustled it into a triple. So with 2 on and 2 out, it is 3-1 Cincinnati in the 4th inning. Rao to his stretch, set at the belt, checks the runners, comes to the plate, and the first one is high, ball 1. The Reds come in with about as good a club as they can field, and with Billingham, Gullett, and Norman. The Dodgers come in without Jimmy Wynn, without Andy Messersmith, and Rao starting with Zahn, due to go tomorrow. The 1-0 curve is on the inside corner for a strike. And the Reds have immediately taken a lead, 3-1. Rao back of the rubber. Foster at second, Geronimo at first. Doug has won 13 and lost 7. Set at the belt, and the 1-1 pitch coming up. Fastball foul back, out of play. One and 2. Doug with a new ball. Dan Dreesen waiting. Checking the score, the Cubs beat the Mets 4-3, so they got a split in that doubleheader. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball, a bouncer off the glove of Rao, picked up by Russell, throws to Garvey, who digs it out of the dirt. Oh, what a play. So Rao will get an assist. It goes 1-6-3, and that's no easy trick against a left-hand hitter who runs as well as Dreesen does. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 left, and at the end of 3 1/2, Reds 3, Dodgers 1.
Taking a look at Friday's second-round scores in the World Open Golf Championship at Pinehurst, North Carolina, Johnny Miller fired an 8-under-par 63. He stands at 136. Frank Beard is at 137, a stroke behind. 2 off the pace, David Graham and Hale Irwin at 138, and at 139, Mike Hill, Jack Nicklaus, Nate Starks, Gene Littler, Lee Elder, and Bob Murphy. At 140, Charles Cootie, Buddy Allen, and Bruce Devlin. At 141, Dave Stockton, Tommy Aaron, Lionel Abear, Bobby Cole, Don Iverson, Jim Dent, Lee Trevino, Lou Graham, Ed Sneed, and Bob Stanton. At 142, defending champ Miller Barber, Hubert Green, Sam Adams, Billy Casper, Peter Oosterhouse, Kermit Zarley, J.C. Sneed, Tom Kite, and Mike Morley. Among those at 143, Mark Hayes, Bert Green, John Mahaffey, Gibby Gilbert, and Dale Douglas. Among those who failed to make the cut, Arnold Palmer, Sam Sneed, and Gary Player.
Now we go to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Reds leading the Dodgers 3-1. 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. For the Dodgers, Bill Buckner, who is hitting in the number 3 slot since the Dodgers are without the services of Jimmy Wynn. It's Buckner, Garvey, and Crawford against Jack Billingham. The Reds got a home run by Perez in the 2nd inning. Dreesen's triple, and he came home on a ground ball in the 3rd. And then 2 out, 2 walks. And you really can't fault Rao. He made a good pitch on Geronimo. He jammed him. But Geronimo was able to loop it into left field to get the 3rd run over. Buckner takes ball 1. So Billingham trying to win his 19th, and he has been staked to a 3-1 lead. The 1-0 pitch, fastball, pulled on the ground to Morgan. He's up with it, throws him out. We were saying earlier about Billingham, and it is certainly obvious. He has a better fastball going. He's going a little bit harder than when the Dodgers beat him in Cincinnati. Steve Garvey grounded to short in the 2nd inning. Billingham looks in the bench. Jack deals, breaking ball, but low, ball one. Can you believe the Cardinals are in another long extra inning game? The Cardinals and Phillies have played 14 innings now, and it's 2-2. Fastball is top foul off to the right of the plate now to play. Steve unable to really get around on it. 1-1. 10-inning American League game. Boston beat Milwaukee 8-5. Moret over Travers. 1-1. The count is Steve Garvey. Billingham right back. Fastball inside. Ball two. Billingham, ERA of 3.3. He has a couple of shutouts. Ground ball is short, waiting for the hop is Concepcion and throws at Garvey. So Steve has been tied up by Billingham so far. He's 0 for 2. Interesting, the last 3 series between the two clubs. Billingham ready, and the pitch to Crawford. That's low, ball one. The Dodgers went to Cincinnati and won 3 out of 4. The Reds came here and won 2 out of 3, almost swept except for Yeager's dramatic grand slam. Then the Dodgers went to Cincinnati and won 2 out of 3. The pitch to Crawford a strike. And oddly enough, the one game the Dodgers lost when they had a 5-0 lead. 1-1. The count to Willie Crawford. Billingham comes back. Fastball beaten foul into the dirt. And the count 1-2. 1-2 to Willie Crawford. You know, it's an amazing thing. You watch Johnny Bench, and over the years, I don't remember John ever getting a foul ball on the hand. I don't remember John ever getting a foul ball on the foot. He just seems to be almost indestructible behind the plate. 1-2 the count to Willie Crawford. Billingham ready and deals. Soft curve punched to short. Concepcion up with it. Throws to Perez in time, and the Dodgers roll over in the 4th. At the end of 4, the Reds 3 and the Dodgers 1.
Here's a look now at first-round action in the Ladies Charity Golf Classic at Fort Worth, Texas, Friday. Jane Blaylock is on top with the first round 69. Sandra Haney and Sandra Spusik both had 70s. At 72, Sue Roberts and Lenore Becerra. At 73, Christy Pastore, Sharon Moran, Mary Mills, that is, Merle Greer, Jan Stevenson, and Betty Burfine. At 74, Joanne Worsham, Sandra Palmer, Beth Stone, Clifford Ann Creed, Kathy Ahern, Marlene Hagee, and Kathy McMullen. And at 75, Judy Meister, Susan O'Connor, Joanne Prentice, Sally Little, Judy Rankin, Gail Denenberg, Robin Dummett, Dot Germain, and Mardell Wilkins. At 76, Gerda Boykin, that should be, Betsy Cullen, Pam Higgins, Joanne Carter, this year's leading money winner, Sharon Miller, Carolyn Kurtzman, Gloria Errett, Joyce Benson, Shelley Hamlin, Pam Barnett, and M.J. Smith. Among those at 77, Laura Barr and Louise Bruce.
Well, we've got 4 innings in. The Reds 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. The Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. Doug Rao tuning up to Joe Ferguson. Rao has been in trouble. At least the Reds have had a man on in every inning, and they've scored a run in each of the last 3. It's like being eaten to death by an angry moth. One run at a time. Jack Billingham, followed by Pete Rose and then Joe Morgan. Well, the Cardinals failed to score. So they go to the bottom of the 15th inning, with Philadelphia and the Cardinals all even 2-2. It's not a question of whether the Cardinals can win. It's a question of whether they can survive. How many innings have they been playing the last few days? They're in another one tonight. Breaking ball is low, ball 1, 1-0. Billingham grounded to third in the 3rd inning. There are 3 games so far. 25, 9, and 15 tonight. The pitch to Billingham is strike, 1-1. Cincinnati. 5th inning, first game of the series. Rao ready, back he comes, and the fastball high and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Rao is due to bat fourth when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the fifth inning. Doug checking, outfield straightaway. The 2-1 pitch. Billingham, it's a big chopper to Say. Ron reaches up and then throws him out. The Billingham taps to Say, one away, and that'll bring up Pete Rose. Rose is 0 for 2. He slammed one off Rao's shin, but Russell threw him out. So Pete 0 for 2. Rose checks in, 1 out, base is empty. Fifth inning, Reds 3, Dodgers 1. Rao, both feet on the rubber, checking with Ferguson. Say about even with the bag, and again they spread out almost straight away on Rose. He looks at a high fastball, ball 1. Sorry. Now the 1-0 pitch to Rose. Fastball for a strike. Picked up the outside corner. 1-1 to Pete Rose. Rao comes back to his hitter, and a sinker is a ground ball to Lopes. It runs up his arm. He grabs it in the air, throws him out. It went right up Davies' left arm, and then it seemed to hang in the air just off his left shoulder. He took another swipe at it, recovered, and got it. 2 down, and Joe Morgan, the batter. Morgan walked, grounded out to Garvey. Little Joe 0 for 1. Reds 3, Dodgers 1 in the fifth. The Dodgers will have Ron Say, Joe Ferguson, and Bill Russell in the bottom half. Doug to the windup. The left-handed deal, fastball grounded sharply, backhanded by Garvey. Over to the bag he goes. So the Reds are out in order for the first time tonight. And at the end of 4.5 innings, the Reds 3 and the Dodgers 1.
The third race of the America's Cup Series was postponed Friday because of heavy fog on Rhode Island Sound. Weather permitting, the best-of-7 series will be resumed Saturday afternoon. The American defender Courageous scored victories over the Australian challenger Southern Cross in each of the first 2 races. The sailing area seemed fairly clear Friday morning when the 2 yachts slipped away from their berths at the Newport shipyard. But a heavy fog moved in over the area. The race committee of the sponsoring New York Yacht Club first called for a hold and then decided to postpone the event. Texas makes one of its rare out-of-state road trips in college football Saturday. The Longhorns, who were upset at Miami in their opener a year ago, should have an easier time Saturday night at Boston College. Even without star running back Roosevelt Leaks, the Longhorns are tabbed as near 3-touchdown favorites over the Eagles. Another team which had expected an easy road opener is Alabama, but they're going up against Jerry Claiborne in the Maryland Terrapins.
Bottom of the fifth inning, the Reds are leading the Dodgers 3-1. And Walter Olston, if he gets a chance, he's thinking about lifting Doug Rao. He has Charlie Huff throwing in the bullpen. He has Say, Ferguson, and Russell, and he's down by 2. So if the Dodgers get anything going here, it will be no surprise if they hit for Rao. Doug, as we mentioned earlier, does not finish. He has completed only 3 of 30 starts. But whether he stays in for a while will depend on Say, Ferguson, and Russell. Say hit a low line drive that just cleared the fence at the 370 mark to tie up the game in the second inning. Ron, 17 home runs, 92 RBIs, hitting .279. Billingham ready and deals. Fastball low and away. Ball 1. Say has hit safely in 11 out of 12. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball fouled away. The one game he was stopped was in San Francisco, when he was penalized for hitting the ball so hard that it took off on center fielder Gary Maddox, and the San Francisco scorer took the hit away. Otherwise, he'd have a 12-game hitting streak. He'd also have 2 extra RBIs. 1-1, the count to Ron Say. Billingham ready, Long John delivers way outside with a breaking ball in the dirt, ball 2. Backhanded by Johnny Bench, 2-1. Long Jack out of Florida. He's 6'4", makes his home in Cincinnati. The 2-1 pitch to say. Fastball, chopper foul outside of third and down the line. 2-2. Tomorrow night, Don Gullett and Jeff Zahn. Gullett, overpowering type pitcher. Zahn tries to finesse you. Then on Sunday, Fred Norman and Don Sutton. Here's the 2-2 pitch to say. Fastball. He's late, but he got a piece of it and fouled it upstairs off first base. It was not that he was so fast, but it was a great location. He got the fastball on the outside part of the plate and about at the knees. And with 2 strikes, they had to flick his bat at the ball and just did get little of it. Billingham right back. Fastball, and that's grounded to short. Concepcion takes it at the bill, throws low, and it's dug out by Tony Perez. 1 away. So the Dodgers playing pepper with Concepcion. That's 3 straight ground balls to the shortstop. Joe Ferguson lined a single to center in the second inning. He's 1 for 1. Fergie hitting .241. 15 home runs, 53 RBIs. Billingham ready and deals. Fastball low. Ball 1. Jack checking with bench. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Curveball pulled to third, right by third baseman Dreesen. And into left field. Fergie holding. So it's a base hit. Say Dan Dreesen acted a little odd on that. I think he thought that since it was a breaking ball, that Ferguson would pull the ball more than he did. Because on the breaking ball, he was leaning to guide the foul line, and the ball went the other way. So he started one way, then dived the other, and it was too late. So Ferguson singles to left, and the batter, Bill Russell. Rao is on deck, but as we mentioned at the start of the inning, he is on tenterhooks right now. Huff has been down in the bullpen. Oh, we'll see. Russell might very well determine Rao's future, depending upon what Bill does. 1 out, Ferguson at first. Perez back of the bag. Billingham out of a stretch. 3-1 Reds in the 5th. Russell, a ground ball knocked down by Dreesen. Picks it up, throws to first, and got him. Dan Dreesen had to fight that thing to the death because he was playing up and it was hit hard, and it struck him on the chest. And now what about Rao? He is not going to come up. They're going to the bench. They're going to Charlie Manuel. Charlie Manuel, a left-hand hitter who had played briefly with Minnesota. And Manuel has spent the summer at Albuquerque and had a big year. He's a big guy out of Natural Bridge, Virginia. Quiet, soft-spoken Charlie Manuel. And in a minute, he'll be coming up. He wears number 46. So here comes Charlie Manuel. Manuel with the Dodgers in spring training. He is not much of an outfielder. He is a very good hitter. At Albuquerque, and of course Albuquerque, granted, is a long way from facing Billingham with the pennant on the line. But he had a big year. He had 30 home runs, hit .329 and 102 RBIs. Joe Morgan and Sparky Anderson are going to have a meeting with Jack Billingham. And Sparky wants to explain to Bench and to Billingham how he wants Manuel pitched. Charlie Manuel is big and strong. If you make a mistake, he can hit it out. As we mentioned, he is not the kind of fellow who's going to play in the outfield for you a lot. But he is the kind of a guy who can give you a bat coming off the bench. Whether he can come off the bench strictly as a pinch hitter, no one really knows. But playing every day at Albuquerque, he had a big year. So Charlie Manuel, there's not really much pressure on him. You might think there is, but there really isn't. After all, he doesn't know anybody involved. He just got here. So Billingham ready, Ferguson at second with 2 out, and Manuel waiting. Charlie working the wood back and forth, and Billingham making him wait. Now Jack ready. The left-hand hitter looks at a curve low. Ball 1. So Doug Rao pitched much better than the line would indicate. Had Crawford been able to handle the ball by Dreesen would not have been able to go to third and would not have been able to score in the third inning. And then the looping single by Geronimo cost him another run. Fastball is swung on and missed. 1-1. So Charlie Manuel hitting for Doug Rao. Charlie Huff is down in the bullpen. The Reds 3 runs, 3 hits. The Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits. A home run by Say. 1-1 pitch. Curve swung on and missed. 1-2. Manuel joined the Dodgers just the other day, so he hadn't been in a ball game since he left Albuquerque. And he happens to be being dropped in against the fellow with the top record in the league. Jack Billingham, the only 18-game winner in the National League. A nice way to start. The 1-2 pitch to Manuel. Fastball away. Ball 2. Charlie, big, soft-spoken, kind of slow-talking Virginian from Natural Bridge. You say, where in the world is Natural Bridge? And he said, it's near Roanoke. The 2-2 pitch to Manuel. Breaking ball pulled on the ground into right field. Base hit. Here comes Ferguson to score. Give way to a runner. Jerry Royster will run for him, and the Virginian gets an ovation as he comes back to the dugout. What a great feeling for him. Wow! Charlie Manuel out of nowhere by way of Natural Bridge, Virginia. Singles to right. Now Royster running for Manuel, and Davy Lopes will be coming up. It's Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Boy, that's a bit of unscheduled drama. Got him buzzing. Perez diving at the ball, just missed it. Manuel got a big roundhouse curveball and rolled it into right field. Dillingham deals. Lopes whips one. Morgan going out, can't get it. Royster is on his way to third. He's in there. The Reds say Royster missed second base. The Reds say he missed second base. Now let's see. We're going to have more drama. A rookie base runner, did he touch second base? They're going to give the ball to Billingham. We're not going to move. We owe a station break, but wait a minute. Did Jerry Royster miss second base? That's the question. The Reds have a meeting at the mound. In a minute, Billingham will get ready to pitch to Joshua. Then he will step off the rubber. Then he will throw back to second base. And then we'll find out whether Jerry Royster did or did not step on second base. So hold everything. Ed Sudol has been umpiring a long time, will be the man to call it. So let's see, it's coming up in a second. All the Reds hollered that he missed second base. Billingham on the rubber. He's not going to pitch. Straightens up. Now he'll get off the rubber. He turns and throws to Morgan, and safe, says Sudol. We'll pause the station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
At 790 and 1420, this is American Forces Radio.
SCN Criminal Zone. Ron Joshua is the batter. First and third, 2 out in the 5th inning. Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Billingham deals to strike. 0-1. So the Dodgers, the tying run, represented by Jerry Royster at third, having been sent in on the pinch hit by Charlie Manuel. Lopes at first. Strike 1 pitch to Joshua. Low, 1-1. Well, it figured to be this kind of a game. It figures to be this kind of a series. And it figures to be this kind of a pennant race. 1-1. The count to Von Joshua. He's in a pressure cooker. Wynn is out with tonsillitis. He takes outside. Ball 2. Meanwhile, the Cardinals and the Phillies are going to the 17th inning. 17 innings in Philadelphia, all even 2-2. 2-1 to Joshua. 3-2 Reds in the fifth. 2 out. Billingham out of a stretch. And the 2-1 pitch to Joshua is a high chopper down to Concepcion. He's on the bag for the fours. But the Dodgers get a couple of hits and a run. And at the end of 5, Reds 3, Dodgers 2.
Southern Methodist University's football team was hit by a 2-year probation penalty by the NCAA just a while back. And now the university has lost the co-captain of its team, Mike Smith, by another suspension. Smith was ruled ineligible by the NCAA in connection with the probationary period. The National Football League office says quarterback Roger Staubach of the Dallas Cowboys is a probable starter for Sunday's opener against the Atlanta Falcons. Staubach missed the first 2 preseason games because of a cracked rib. Atlanta probably will be without top running backs Art Malone and Dave Hampton. Oakland reports wide receiver Mike Siani and linebacker Dan Connors are probables. Philadelphia running back Norm Bulash has a hip injury and is a probable. The San Diego Chargers dropped veteran running back Robert the Tank Holmes. Coach Tommy Prothro says the 5'10" Holmes showed up overweight at 240 pounds and stayed that way. Says Prothro, Holmes has not looked good blocking for us, and our philosophy is our 2 backs have to block.
After the Reds leave town, still 10 mighty vital games on the Dodger Stadium schedule. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, the Astros. Thursday through Sunday with the Padres. Night games Thursday and Friday. Day games Saturday and Sunday. And then wrapping it all up, Hank Aaron's farewell to Dodger Stadium, September 23rd, 24th, and 25th. All night games, capped by Fan Appreciation Night on the 25th. Order tickets early and be on one of the most crucial games of the year. Here's one of the finest souvenir bargain packages Danny Goodman has ever put together, all for $2 and no extra charge for mailing. 12 miniature pennants of National League clubs, 12 miniature helmets, autographed pictures of 10 Dodger players, and a Dodger team photo in full color. Send your orders to Danny Goodman, Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, 90012. All right, let's move along. 6th inning, more play. Here's Vince.
All right, Jerry. Charlie Hub has picked up the pitching for Doug Rao. The Reds, 3 runs, only 3 hits. No errors. The Dodgers, 2 runs on a half a dozen hits and 1 error. The Reds have left 2 men. They left them in the 4th inning when they scored the run that is now the difference. The Dodgers in 5 innings have left 3. Charlie Huff will face the heart of the Cincinnati lineup. Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Davey Concepcion. So Rao went 5, allowed 3 runs, 1 a home run by Perez, another, the extra base hit by Dreesen that might have been held to a double normally by Crawford. He scored on a ground ball. And then with 2 outs, and this is what ruined Rao's night, he walked 2, made a good pitch on Geronimo and jammed him. And Geronimo is a dunker into left field, and that's the go-ahead run. Huff ready in the pitch. Knuckler inside, ball 1. The Dodgers with the infield way around. They're trying to close up the hole at short. Russell in it, lopes way over to his right, and Garvey has to guard the area in the neighborhood of first base. The outfield deep and around the left. Huff's 1-0 pitch on the way. Knuckler for a strike. 1-1. So Reds 3, Dodgers 2, top of the 6th inning. Bench has hit into a double play and hit a changeup and lined it right at Bill Buckner. The 1-1 pitch by Huff. Knuckler and a high fly ball. It's playable in left field. Buckner down the line. Russell going out, but it's Buckner for the catch. The batter will be Tony Perez. He homered in the 2nd inning, and Perez flied to right in the 4th.
Tony Perez, first move.
The Cardinals and the Phillies are going into their 17th inning, and they've had to play over 4.5 hours. So another tough game for St. Louis. Perez way out in front of that knuckleball, 0-1. Many years ago, Jim Gilliam, in talking about Hoyt Wilhelm's knuckleball, gave it as good a name as I can imagine it could be applied to the pitch when he called it the Dancer. And a dancer it is. when the music's right. The strike one pitch. Swung on and missed. 0-2. 1 out, 6th inning, 3-2 Cincinnati. Charlie Huff back of the rubber. Working on the first base side of the rubber. Strike 2 pitch to Tony Perez. Huff's knuckler squirted off to the right of the plate. Ferguson coming back. He's got a play. He's got it. The batter will be Davy Concepcion. Just a reminder, with all the fuss and feathers here, you know, in Concepcion grounded out in the 2nd inning. And then in the 4th inning, walked, stole 2nd and 3rd, and scored on the little looper into left field. And that's the go-ahead run now. Charlie Huff out of a wind-up and deals, and the first one missed, 4-1. Reds, top of the 6th. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Knuckler over. Squirting away from Ferguson, 1-1. Joe, wearing the big waffle mitt. Plate umpire Bob Engel decides to put a new one in play. Boy, the stage really set for this one. The Dodgers leading by 3.5. The last 3 games of the year between the two clubs. The Dodgers come home 5 straight, 7 out of 8. The Reds come in 4 straight, 5 out of 6. And 9 of their last 10 road games. So a collision it is. 1-1 to Davy. Charlie Huff into the windup, and the 1-1 pitch on the way is a knuckleball high. Ball 2, 2-1. The Dodgers with Huff and Ferguson. The firm of Garvey, Lopes, Russell, and Say is in business. The 2-1 pitch to Concepcion, knuckler high, ball 3. The outfield, however, Buckner is in left and Crawford is in right. But the senior member of the firm is not there. Jimmy Wynn is not playing tonight. He doesn't figure to play tomorrow night. Von Joshua is out there. Here's the 3-1 pitch, taken low, ball 4. So Concepcion, who ran Rao a little ragged, stealing 2nd and 3rd, will now try to do exactly the same thing to Charlie Huff. So Concepcion, with 2 stolen bases, has stolen 37 out of 42. If you are George Foster, you immediately think Huff will try to throw a fastball to get the ball to Ferguson so he can get it down to try and get Concepcion. But we'll see. Davy walks off the bag and then retreats just as quickly, takes another good lead, and Huff goes over there. Concepcion walking off the bag. Charlie Huff watching him. Now works Foster high, ball 1, and he made that pitch with one eye on the runner. Reds 3 runs, 3 hits. Dodgers 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. We're in the top of the 6th. Charlie Huff at the belt. Another look at Concepcion. He doesn't go, and it's foul back. 1-1. Concepcion, by the way, when he stole 2nd and 3rd, added to a string. He has run his consecutive stolen base string to 23. The last time that Davy Concepcion was thrown out was July the 11th by Chicago's Steve Swisher. He's stolen 23 in a row as he takes his lead. 1-1 the count. Throw to first, not in time. The only thing wrong with that stat is they tell you the catcher, and everybody knows you don't steal on the catcher. They should have said he was thrown out by catcher Steve Swisher and also mentioned who the pitcher was. Another throw to first, Concepcion back. Because it's the pitcher who cuts down his lead, and then the catcher who cuts him down for good. 1-1 the count to George Foster, right-hand hitting right fielder. Davy has to jump back ahead of the tag, and that was close. Concepcion again takes the lead, and another throw, and he just did get back. That was close. There are all kinds of ways to be a base stealer. You can be a Lou Brock, who is constantly in motion, and then just accelerates into high. You can be a Davy Lopes, who stands stock still, and then suddenly and incredibly picks up speed. And then you can be a Concepcion, who takes the biggest maximum lead that the law allows. The pitch is full foul. That'll go off the railing of the box seats and down the left field line. 1-2. Now Joe Ferguson out to talk to Charlie Huff, and they're going to have to decide, do we go 1-2 knuckleball? Do we think that Concepcion's going to try to go? Do we pitch out? So they have to discuss it, and we'll see what's going to happen. 2 down, bases with Concepcion at first. 1-2 the count to Foster. And the question in the house, whether Concepcion will try to go. Davey walking off the bag. Huff goes to his stretch, checks him, and goes over there with a lob throw to Garvey. Reds 3, Dodgers 2, top of the 6th. Huff again ready. Looks over at Concepcion. He goes. Knuckleball is swung on and missed. Dropped by Ferguson. He tags Foster, and that's it. So they decided, never mind Concepcion. We'll throw knuckleballs, and they struck out Foster. No runs, no hits, a man left. The end of 5.5. Reds 3, Dodgers 2.
Well, as you may have heard Jerry Doggett say earlier, all 3 meetings of this series between the Dodgers and Reds in L.A. have been sold out. And the National League West leaders are now heading towards breaking their own all-time big league attendance record. It will be the 11th time this season that the Dodgers have drawn 50,000 or more for a game when this series is concluded. In 1962, when the club established the Major League attendance record with 2,755,184, the Dodgers had crowds of 50,000 or more 9 times. The attendance so far this season for the Dodgers is 2,199,830. Well, it appears St. Louis has got something going, maybe something big going in the top of the 17th inning against the Phillies. Enzo Hernandez came on in the 17th, relieved by Eddie Watt in the 17th, and now Underwood on in the 17th. That game tied 2-2 after 16 full innings. However, 3 different relief pitchers for the Phillies in the 17th frame. Back now to Los Angeles.
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Reds holding on to a 3-2 lead. The Dodgers will have Bill Buckner, Steve Garvey, and Willie Crawford. Buckner hitting in the number 3 spot, normally occupied by Jimmy Wynn. He has lined out and grounded out. So it shows you what happens. You take one vital man out of the lineup and the whole picture changes. Buckner is 0 for 2. He has come up with the bases empty. In fact, he led off 1 inning. The number 2 spot in the lineup has had a man at second and a man at first and third to pitch to Buckner outside. But instead of Buckner, it is Joshua, who has not played very much this year. And Vaughn is hit back to the box, struck out, and hit into a force play. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Buckner. Fastball swung on and missed. 1-1. Billy hitting .315. 6 home runs and 50 runs batted in, and he wants Bob Engel to look at the ball, and the plate umpire obliges. 7 o'clock game tomorrow night. Don Gullett and Jeff Zahn. Fred Norman and Don Sutton on Sunday. 1-1 pitch. Fastball, a high fly ball into right field, but it's playable. George Foster is there waiting and makes the catch. 1 away. The Dodgers want to make sure that you understand. They, first of all, appreciate your continued attendance and your loyalty to the ball club. And they just wish they had another 50,000 seats, but they don't. And they want it, at best, to save you the inconvenience of coming out and being shut out. So they tell you that 2 more games in the series with the Reds, and both games have been sold out. Garvey takes ball 1. So if you do not have tickets for Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, please don't come to the ballpark for your own sake. No tickets will be placed on sale for either date. Pitch to Garvey outside, ball 2. But remember, this weekend isn't the end of the world. There's 3 with Houston, 4 with San Diego, and 3 with the Henry and the Braves. Garvey lifts it foul off first. Boy, Billingham has really tied up Steve, and Perez makes the catch. So Garvey goes 0 for 3, not been able to make any really good contact, and the batter is Willie Crawford. Crawford flied to center and grounded out. Willie 0 for 2. Started the night at 298. Billingham with a good fastball, and I think he's been struggling more with his curve than anything. Jack checking bench and Crawford waiting. Fastball low and away, ball 1, 1-0. Say homered in the second. The Dodgers got 3 hits in the 5th inning to get a run. Charlie Manuel, a pinch hit single to drive in the second run. The 1-0 pitch to Crawford, a strike. He started to pull the trigger, thought better of it, and the pitch was in there anyway, 1-1. The Reds scored single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So the Dodgers down 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1 to Willie Crawford. Willie is flied to center, grounded to short. Billingham comes back, fastball away, ball 2. 2-1 to Crawford. Billingham ready, and the 2-1 pitch. Fast one swung on and missed. 2-2. Crawford, 11 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Billingham trying to win his 19th. He won 19 last year. Jack into the windup, and the 2-2 pitch is high, ball 3. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, you want to hear. The Cardinals and the Phillies have played in the 17th inning, right? It's got to be 119. And time called because of rain in Philadelphia. 3-2 pitch is a ground ball down to Joe Morgan. Little Joe throws to Perez. That'll do it. The Cardinals and the Phils sitting in the rain at 1:30 in the morning in Philadelphia. At the end of 6, the Reds 3, the Dodgers 2.
Let's give you a rundown on the scoreboard again quickly. Everything except the second game of the Cleveland-Baltimore game is over in the American League. The Orioles won the first game 3-2. Cleveland leading the second game 6-5 after 6.5 time call by rain there. The White Sox took a pair from California 8-0 and 3-1. The Yankees lost to Detroit 6-3. Boston in 10 over Milwaukee 8-5. Minnesota in 10 over Kansas City 6-5, and Texas 3-1 over Oakland. Thus, the Yankees lead the East by a game and a half right now over the Red Sox, and by 2 games over the Orioles. Depending on the outcome of the second game, the Orioles could move within a game and a half. The St. Louis Cardinals, as you just heard, and the Philadelphia Phillies in the 17th inning, time has been called because of rain. The finals in the National League, the Mets in the first of 2, 6-0 over the Cubs. The Cubs won the second game in 11 innings, 4-3. After 6, 8-0. Braves over San Diego. After 7, San Francisco leading Houston 4-3.
Through 6 innings, the Reds 3 runs, 3 hits. The Dodgers 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. Let's go to the 7th. More play. Here's Jerry.
I've been in at Geronimo, Dreesen, and Billingham now against Charlie Huff. Geronimo got the single to put the Reds' 3rd run on the board. It was a looper hit into left field on a check swing. He drove in Concepcion from third base, and that is now the difference in the game. Geronimo, left-hand hitter, hitting 299 coming in. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's a foul off behind the plate, strike 1. 0-1 the count. So Geronimo waiting. Charlie Huff ready to go again with it, and the pitch on the way. Knuckleball fouled away, and it's strike 2. 0-2 is the count to Geronimo. 0-2 the count. Charlie throwing the knuckleballs now. The windup and the pitch to Cesar. Knuckleball popped up foul. That'll be out of play on the third base side, down behind the Dodger dugout. Strike two, the count. Ron Fay gave chase of that one for time while Ronnie goes back, picks up his cap, and gets back into his position at third base. 3-2 and a tight one here. Now the pitch. Knuckler high off Fergie's glove to the backstop, and the count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 count. The Reds got single runs in the second, third, and fourth. The Dodgers are running the second and in the fifth inning. Rao worked the first 5, gave up 3 runs and 3 hits, and that's all the Reds have had. Rao pitched very well, but he was unfortunate on 2 of the runs. Now the 1-2 pitch. Knuckleball foul back to the wire. Count stays 1-2. Same clubs tomorrow, 7 o'clock game. Same clubs on Sunday, a 1:15 game. Gullivan's on tomorrow, Norman and Sutton on Sunday. All right, it's 1-2. Charlie Reddy delivers. Knuckleball struck him out. So Geronimo goes down on strike. Huff now has 2 strikeouts. And the batter will be Dreesen. He has tripled and grounded out in 2 trips. So Dan Dreesen coming on, with Jack Billingham due up next. Billingham has a record of 18-9 on the year. He hasn't pitched too many bad games this season. The Dodgers caught him on an off day last Sunday and were able to get a lead on him and beat him. But now he is ahead of them 3-2. Here's the pitch to Dreesen. Knuckleball, that's a strike, 0-1. Dreesen tripled into right field in the third inning. The ball went down the line and hit the box seat, concrete below the box seat railing and skipped away from Crawford and went for a triple. There's a swing and a miss, strike 2. Had Crawford been able to play the ball, had it come off on a better bounce to him, he would have held Dreesen to a double. And then he could not have scored because there were 2 groundouts to follow. In fact, 3 to follow. Strike 2 count to Dreesen, a good hitter. 283 average, 6 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Now Charlie Reddy in the windup and the pitch on the way. Popped up on the left side. Russell calling for it back on the rim of the outfield. And makes the play. 2 down. 2 away, and Billingham, the batter, has grounded out twice. Jack 0 for 2, not much of a hitter. He has 4 hits and 65 trips up this year. So Billingham coming on. So I'll tell you, if the Cardinals win their division now, it'll be the hard way. They were behind 3.5 games, got involved in that 25-inning game. They won last night, and they are trying to win tonight. And they're in the 17th inning, and it's raining, and the Cardinals, if they win, would only be a half a game out, as the Pirates have lost in Montreal. All right, here's Billingham waiting, and Huff delivers a fastball outside, 1 ball, no strike. 1-0 the count, 2 outs, top of the 7th. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the inning, bottom of the order, Say, Ferguson, Russell, and then Huff. Now the pitch. Ground ball over the mound behind second base, and it goes on through to center field. So Billingham, who is a poor hitter, to say the least, gets his 5th hit of the year. Bouncing one up the middle to center field. He had an 0.64 batting average, and now that brings up Pete Rose. With 2 out, Rose has gone 0 for 3, got an RBI in the 3rd on a ground out. Pete now will turn around and bat from the left side against right-hander Charlie Huff. That ball really had eyes. It bounced over Huff, over the bag, and under Russell's glove. Two outs. Runner on at first. Now the pitch. Outside with the knuckleball to Pete, 1-0. Rose with a 287 average. Pete has 168 hits. His annual goal is 200 hits, but he's going to miss it this year. He'd have to have over 2 a game, about 2 a game to make it, so he has an outside chance. Now the 1-0 pitch. In for a strike on the knuckleball, and it's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dillingham standing at first base. Charlie Huff working the 1-1 pitch. Knuckler outside, ball 2. 2-1. Charlie goes back to the rosin bag for a moment. They play Rose almost straight away. Say is up at third against the left-hand batter. They gap him just a little bit in right center field. All right, a 2-1 count to Pete. Here's the pitch. Strike 2. Called. Knuckleball in there, and it's a 2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 7th inning. Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Now again the look. Charlie Huff working to Rose. Knuckleball, strike 3 call. He knew it, walked away, and Huff now gets his 3rd strikeout. Well, they're all gone in the 7th. No runs with a hit. And a man left on in the score at the end of 6 1/2. Reds 3 and the Dodgers have 2.
Willis Reed of the New York Knicks is on the verge of retirement. The team doctor says the NBA star cannot play consistently anymore without risking further damage to an ailing knee. Surgery would keep him going, but he refuses a 3rd operation. Jim Finks, who helped the Minnesota Vikings to be a consistent contender, says he hopes to get the Chicago Bears back to the great teams of the early 1940s and mid-50s. The former Viking general manager was named Thursday as the Bears' executive vice president, general manager, and chief operating officer, ending years of iron-fisted control of the National Football League club by George Halas. The Orioles and the Cleveland Indians have resumed play in the 2nd game of their doubleheader in Baltimore. And in the bottom of the 7th inning, Tommy Davis has just homered for the Birds with nobody on, his 10th of the year, to at least tie the game at 6-all. Tom Buskey came on in relief in the 7th for the Indians. Bob Reynolds came on in the 7th inning for Baltimore. He is now pitching in the 8th.
Now let's pass for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to the voice of information for the American Forces at 790 and 1420.
Well, the change for the Reds defensively, Darrell Cheney now takes over 3rd base for Dan Dreesen. And Ron Fay comes on to start it off in the bottom of the 7th. Ronnie has a home run and a ground out, 1 for 2. 17 home runs and 92 RBIs. So stay at that, the Dodgers down by a run and Dillingham ready to go to work. Pitch on the way to Ronnie. Fastball low and outside, ball 1. No activity in the Dodger bullpen, but Charlie Huff is due to bat 4th here in the inning. Reds have a right-hander throwing. Here's the pitch to Fay. Swung on and missed, and it is strike 1. 1-1 the count. So right-hander throwing for the Reds, and it's Clay Carroll. Now the Dodgers have someone in their bullpen. And it's Mike Marshall down there. Now the 1-1 pitch. Ronnie chops it away foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He hit the home run in the 2nd inning, first time up, and since then Dillingham has been trying to keep the ball away from him. 1-2 is the count. Bottom of the 7th. Big Jack on the mound, ready to go with it. Here's the pitch. Struck him out on an off-speed pitch. So he threw him a changeup and Fay runs at it, goes down on strike. 3rd strikeout for Dillingham, who has not walked a man. That's been the key to it for Jack. Dillingham walked 2 in the game that he pitched last Sunday. All right, Ferguson at bat has singled twice, so Joe is 2 for 2. Here's the pitch. In for strike at the knees. 0-1 to Fergie. He singled in the 5th inning, came around to score. The Dodgers 2 runs, 6 hits. Reds 3 runs, 4 hits. Pitch to Ferguson. Line drive, base hit to center field. So Fergie has his 3rd hit of the game. And that'll bring up Bill Russell, who has 1 for 2. 3 hits for Ferguson, all singles. Bill Russell coming up, and the Dodgers will have Charlie Huff due up next, and we'll see how they go now. It'll all depend on Russell, of course. Bill had an infield hit in the 3rd inning, grounded out in the 5th inning. On a very close play as Rhoden kicked the ball and then recovered it just to get him. Otherwise, the Dodgers might have had another run because they followed with singles by Manuel and Lope. All right, tying runners on, Joe Ferguson. Bottom of the seventh, Russell at bat. Philly has 5 home runs, 62 RBIs. He had 4 ribbies last night. All right, here's the look. Willingham 6. Outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Carroll in the bullpen for the Reds. Marshall in the bullpen for the Dodgers. We're getting to the late innings now. 7th inning, last half. 3-2, Reds lead. Here's the stretch again, the look. And a pitch to Russell. Foul off first out of play, and the count is the ball and the strike. The Reds have won 2 games here. The Dodgers have won the other 4. All right, a 1-1 count if Russell waits. Here's the look in the pitch. Looked at first base, caught by Perez, stepped on the bag, double play. Billy hit it right off the end of the bat and spun a little looper to first base, and the inning is over. Unassisted double play, and he hit a pitch breaking ball right on the end of the bat. So they're all out in the 7th, no runs and a hit, and none left. Score at the end of 7, the Reds 3 and the Dodgers 2.
Troy Jett, the winner of the Whitney Stakes in record time, drew the inside post position Thursday for Saturday's running of the $250,000 Marlboro Cup at Belmont Park in New York. Forgo, the winner of 5 stakes races this year and the favorite, drew the number 2 post position in the field of 11. Jockey Ron Turcotte, who rode Secretariat to a world record in the mile and 1/8 race a year ago, will be aboard Hatchet Man. The threat of the coming heavyweight title bout between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali, Zaire, is getting more publicity. Mrs. Helen Tweedy, the owner of the Meadow Stable, which produced the Great Secretariat, plans to start racing a 2-year-old filly named Zaire within the next few weeks. The National Basketball Association scheduled 75 preseason games, including 22 against teams from the ABA. The pro debut of the league's top draft choice, Bill Walton of Portland, will come in an exhibition game against the Los Angeles Lakers on September 27th. Back now to the Dodgers and Reds in Los Angeles.
Let's go along into the 8th inning. 3-2, Reds lead, and more players finish.
All right, Jerry. Charlie Hubb getting ready. The paid attendance is 52,337, with over 54,000 in the house. 54,196.
37.
So 54,196 on the scene. And as we go to the 8th inning, it remains 3-2 Cincinnati. Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, and Tony Perez in that order. Morgan has walked and twice grounded to Garvey. So Joe is 0 for 2. This will be Charlie Huff's last inning of work no matter what, because he's due to lead off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ferguson says something to plate umpire Engel. And let's see, he might be protesting that Morgan is out of the batter's box. Let's see. Bob is talking to Morgan. Now turns and says something else to Ferguson. The lines, I have never ever understood why the umpires allow hitters to wipe out the batter's boxes anyway. They go to all the trouble before the game of putting down a batter's box, and then for the rest of the game, the hitters try and scratch it out. And I think Ferguson felt that Morgan might have had his right foot out of the box. Knuckleball is high, ball 1. All hitters do it. It's not any club. They just proceed to wipe it out. Imagine if the first baseman and the third baseman started to wipe out the foul line. But they've always let him get away. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Taken low, ball 2, 2-0. So Charlie Huff picking up for Doug Rao, who went 5. Huff has worked 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 3. Charlie comes back 2-0. Fastball, low, ball 3. Charlie doesn't want to let Morgan get aboard, because then you got a fellow who has stolen 58 bases. The Dodgers had enough trouble with Concepcion, and Concepcion's run is now the difference in the game. 3-0 fastball is low, ball 4. for Walter Olson, the worst thing that could happen to him right now is for Huff not to get the side out. He'd like to have Huff get the outs and then hit for him and then have Marshall. He has Marshall in the bullpen. There's someone else throwing down there. We can't see the pitcher. We can see the extra catcher. So Morgan at first, and here is Bench. Hit into a double play. Lined out to left. Slide out to left. Huff deals. John takes high. Ball one. So Huff is really in a jam. You talk about the horns of a dilemma. He's impaled on horns named Bench and Morgan. If he concentrates on Bench, Morgan will steal second. If he tries to throw some fastballs, Bench liable to hit it out. So he goes to first and drives Morgan back to the bag. 1 ball and no strikes to count it, Johnny. Mike Marshall is joined by Rick Rhoden in the Dodger bullpen. The 1-0 pitch is squirted foul outside of first. He hit that off the end of the bat, but on the ground, as opposed to Russell, who squirted one in the air and was turned into a double play. 1-1. Each side scored in the second. Perez and Say homered. The Reds scored in the third and fourth. The Dodgers scored in the fifth, so they're one shy. It's the eighth inning. Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Huff hands it aside. Morgan off the bag in a good lead. And Charlie drives him back. Morgan has stolen 58 bases. He's been caught only 12 times. Joe, pretty good lead. Huff hands together at the belt. Backward glance at Morgan. He doesn't go. Bench rolls one down to Lopes. Davey feeding Russell, who drops the throw, and everybody's safe. Davey Lopes was playing Bench well over to his right. And he tried to feed Russell coming across. And Bill tried to catch it and then throw to first, and he dropped the ball. And everybody is safe. Sparky Anderson wants to talk to George Scherger, his first base coach. So the Reds get a tremendous break. And they're first and second and nobody out. Scherger is going to carry a message to Joe Morgan, the runner at second. You know, he has had a bad leg, and Sparky might want to ask him, how is your leg? Remember, he hurt the leg against the Dodgers. And apparently the answer is the leg is okay. So Scherger comes back to the coaching box. So a big break on the error by Russell on what was at least a force and maybe a double play. We'll never know. And here's Tony Perez. Perez homered, flied to right, and fouled out. And Huff Snuckler a strike. On the count. Perez waiting with Concepcion on deck. Now Charlie at the belt. A look at the runners and the pitch. Knuckler swung on and missed. Strike 2. So the Reds trying to take advantage of the Dodgers. Crawford had trouble with Beeson's extra base hit. It went as a triple. If Willie was able to play the carom off the wall, he probably would not have scored in the third inning. And, of course, now the error here in the eighth inning has given the Reds a big opportunity with nobody out. Strike 2, knuckleball is swung on and missed. Strike 3. However, you have a different type hitter coming up now, Concepcion. He doesn't quite attack the ball the way Perez does. Tony has struck out over 100 times. Concepcion in the 60s. Concepcion has walked twice and grounded out. So Perez, an overswinger, strikes out on the knuckleball. First and second, one out. Chris Duker cleaning off some objects from the warning track in left field, so timeout for the second. Concepcion at the plate. So Morgan at second, Bench at first with one out. Davey Righty-in batter and waiting. On deck, George Foster. Huff checks and delivers, and the knuckler's outside, ball one. Of course, whenever you have a knuckleball pitcher, you wonder about a theft. And, of course, with Joe Morgan at second, the Dodgers have to worry about little Joe trying to steal third, especially with one out, where he could then be picked up by a fly ball. So Huff has to watch him. The 1-0 pitch is a belt to left field. Fastball, and he drove it out. A home run for Concepcion. Charlie Huff tried to sneak the fastball by Concepcion, and he hit it to the back of the Dodger bullpen. And it is 6-2 Cincinnati. So the Reds, a very good ball club, and you gave them a break on the air around the bag in second, and they sure cashed it in. And Concepcion hits his 12th home run. He now has 70 RBIs, and the Reds have a commanding 6-2 lead. And the batter will be George Foster. Struck out twice and walked. The knuckleball is grounded foul, but the entire situation, Concepcion hit a fastball. The whole idea was the fact that Huff was in a jam, and he did not rely on his strength. Charlie tried to sneak the fastball over, and Concepcion sneaked it over the bullpen gate and left. Foster hits a chopper to third. Shea gloves it, goes across to Garvey. 2 down, but of course the damage long done. And the batter now will be Cesar Geronimo.
Center field.
Geronimo, aboard on an error, single to left and struck out. He's 1 for 3. So the Dodgers came home 3.5 in front. They are minus Messerschmitt. They are minus Wynn. They're down 6-2 in the first game. Jeff Zahn goes against an ace tomorrow, Gullett. There's a ground ball to Garvey, and the inning is over. 3 runs on 1 hit, and the hit on the fastball, a 3-run home run by Concepcion. And the score at the end of 7.5, the Reds 6 and the Dodgers 2.
Lewis Harris says football is still number 1 in popularity among Americans, but tennis is the fastest growing sport in the nation. A recent survey found that 26% of the people said they follow tennis, compared to only 17% last year. Horse racing was the only other sport to show a gain in popularity. King football slipped from its all-time high of 67% last year to 63% in the recent sampling. Baseball is still number 2, followed by basketball, tennis, auto racing, golf, bowling, and horse racing. Players of eventually rocky Jacksonville Sharks have been promised their first payday in 2 weeks. Owner Fran Monaco says the men will get the money due them for the last 2 games. They are supposed to be paid after each game, and their last salary checks came after a Labor Day loss to Memphis. Monaco said the team will need about $2 million to overcome its financial problems. He said he is looking for investors to share in the franchise, which he owns outright. Well, the Dodgers find themselves in a deep hole as they come up in the 8th inning.
Bottom of the 8th, 6-2. Jack Billingham leading by 4, and he is now 6 outs away from his 19th victory. So the winningest pitcher in the league, sitting on top of a 4-run lead. And Gale Hopkins will open it up to hit for Charlie Huff. Hopkins followed by Lopes and then Joshua.
Young Bentley for the Dodgers. Batting for Huff, number 60, Gale Hopkins.
So Gale Hopkins hitting .286. He is 2 for 7. The Dodgers using Charlie Manuel in the 5th inning. And Manuel singled to right to drive in a run. Now Hopkins will start it off. Davy Concepcion hitting a fastball into the back of the Dodger bullpen and breaking open a tough 3-2 game and making it 6-2 Cincinnati. So Hopkins, left-hand batter, Billingham's fastball away, ball 1. The home run naturally gets the headline, but the play that wrecked Huff was the ground ball to Lopes when Russell dropped what might have been the start of a double play. Hopkins, a ground ball back of first, off the glove of Perez and down the line. Gale holding at first base, and the throw gunned into Joe Morgan. A base hit for Hopkins, so the pinch hitters are 2 for 2, and we'll have a runner for Gale Hopkins, I would assume. No one forthcoming from the Dodger dugout yet, and now here he comes. The Dodgers have a lot of newcomers just called up. Ivan DeJesus running for Hopkins. So DeJesus at first, with Lopes the batter and Joshua to follow. So Ivan off the bag at first. When Manuel hit, Royster ran for him. Dodgers have more hits than the Reds, but the Reds are leading 6-2 as Lopes takes the strike. Von Joshua is on deck. Jimmy Wynn is in the dugout, but I doubt if he could even pinch hit. Of course, we don't really know. Curveball is grounded back at third. Great stop by Cheney to second for a fourth. Oh, what a play by Darrell Cheney. Marvelous play. When he made the full turn, he stepped on third. And that, no doubt, gave him a little line as to where to throw. He had no chance to set. And he hit the bag and spun around and fired a strike to Morgan. Marvelous play by Darrell Cheney. So 1 out. Holding at first now is Lopes, and the batter is Joshua. Joshua hit back to the box, struck out, hit into a force play, 0 for 3. Billingham deals, and it goes to the backstop. Lopes jogging to second and holding. Pitch way inside, ball 1. 1-0, the count of on Joshua. 6-2 in favor of Cincinnati. It's a wild pitch to allow Lopes to get to second. On deck, Bill Buckner. Timeout for the moment now. Joe Morgan goes to the mound to talk to Billingham, and he might have hurt himself in making that last pitch. Either that or just an equipment problem. The bat boy brings out a tongue depressor, and they are picking at his spikes. Evidently, in sliding off the mound, his spikes had filled up, and they have to clean them off. It is his left shoe, in other words, his striding foot, that hit the mound, and apparently he didn't have any traction, and he slipped. Wild pitch, and now they're trying to clean off the spikes. As we mentioned, they use a wooden tongue depressor, the kind that you and I would see and immediately say, ah. And they've cleaned the spikes, and we're about ready to continue. 1-0 to Von Joshua. 6 runs, 5 hits for the Reds, including 2 home runs by Perez and Concepcion with 2 men aboard. The Dodgers 2 errors, and one of the 2 errors could sink the ship. So here's Joshua, 1-0 the count. Lopes at second. Billingham ready, and the pitch to Vaughn swung on and missed. Again, it just shows you the breaks in the game with the Dodger lineup changed without Wynn. Instead of Buckner coming up with men on base, it is Joshua who has not had much of a chance to play. This is the 3rd time Vaughn has had a man in scoring position. He swings and misses. Of course, it's asking a lot in a precious series to have an irregular suddenly start. He had Russell at second in the 3rd inning and struck out. He had 1st and 3rd in the 5th inning and hit into a force play to end it. Now he's up there with Lopes at second and 1 out. 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and there's the difference in the game, and it's just too tough an assignment. So 2 down, and Bill Buckner coming up. Boy, you talk about the long season. There is just no way to figure out, philosophically, the managers will tell you with a straight face that injuries are all part of the game. But it is the timing. That's the difference. There's Buckner trying to pick somebody up, namely Davy Lopes. Buck is 0 for 3 in the number 3 spot, and he takes the strike. On deck, Steve Garvey. They'll go after each other tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Jeff Zahn will go for the Dodgers, and that's another underdog situation. Zahn has won 3 games. He goes against Don Gullett, who has won 16. Pitch outside. And to repeat at least the feeling in the clubhouse before the game tonight, Jimmy Wynn will not play tomorrow. But, of course, it wouldn't be the Dodgers if things went swimmingly. 1-1, the count to Buckner. Dillingham deals. Fastball hammered to center. Base hit. Here comes Lopes around third to score. So that makes it 6-3, Reds. So Buckner drives in a run. And the batter is Steve Garvey. And Sparky Anderson going out to the mound to make sure that Dillingham is all right, that he's not going to let it get himself into a terrible jam. He looks towards the fence. Carroll down there earlier, and he's up again. The Hawk, as they call him, the number 1 right-hander, along with Pedro Borbon. And they are going to Carroll, right here and now. So Clay Carroll will be brought in here in the 8th inning. The Reds leading the Dodgers 6-3. Dillingham can't lose. He goes out with a 3-run lead and only 1 man on base. And it'll be up to Carroll to preserve it and give Dillingham his 19th victory. There's the announcement on Carroll.
For Cincinnati, number 36, Clay Carroll.
9 hits and 3 runs allowed by Dillingham. In the bottom of the 8th, 2 hits. Pinch hitter Gale Hopkins singled off Perez's glove. Then after Lopes hits into a force play in his wild pitch to second, Joshua strikes out, but Buckner a line single to pick up the run and make it 6-3 Reds. Well, the Hawk is going to take a little time. Carroll will warm up to Johnny Bench. We got some time. Here's Jerry.
All right, Benny, the Dodgers have announced the public sale of box seats and general admission seats for the National League Championship Series at Dodger Stadium. These will be games number 3, 4, 5 in the series, played at 12:30, and the dates are October 8th, 9th, and 10th. Tickets are being sold on a 3-game strip basis. Box seats are $21 for all 3 games. General admission are $9 per 3-game strip. Customers are limited to 4 strips. 4 box seats for all 3 games will cost $84. 4 general admission seats for all 3 games will be $36. $1 should be added for mailing and handling. No personal or business checks will be accepted. Order with certified or cashier checks or money orders payable to the Dodgers. Orders should be sent to this special address: L.A. Championship Series, Box 80199. Box 80199, Los Angeles 90080. Tickets will be allocated while they last, and no order postmarked after September 18th can be handled. More play, here's Ben.
All right, Jerry. Steve Garvey is the batter. Grounded to short twice and fouled out. He's 0 for 3. Clay Carroll in relief of Dillingham. Deals and gets a strike. Garvey never did get a really good rip at Dillingham. Now he's looking at Carroll. Clay Carroll, ERA of 2.3, an 11-4 record in his 53rd game. Garvey looks at a breaking ball away. A throw to first. Buckner back to the bag, and the count 1-1. Bench just flicking that ball, but got it down there in a hurry to Perez. The Dodgers been chasing the Reds all night, and they're still down. It's 6-3 Cincinnati. 1-1 pitch to Garvey. Fastball, a big chopper to Concepcion. High hop, he stayed with it and got him. A fine play by Davey. Boy, he has been a stick out tonight. He's been all over the place at short. He has stolen 2 bases, scored a run, and then hit a 3-run home run. So the Dodgers get a run on a couple of hits in the 8th inning, and at the end of 8, Reds 6, Dodgers 3.
Anders Hogan received a bronze Olympic medal Thursday, a half-century after he won it. The presentation was made in Oslo, Norway. Hogan is Norwegian-born, but now is an American citizen living in California. The 86-year-old Hogan was placed 4th in the standings in a jumping event in the 1924 Winter Olympics at Chamonix, France, that is, but he actually was 3rd. The mistake wasn't discovered until this year, and the family of the late Thorleif Haug, who won the bronze, insisted that it be turned over to Hogan. It is still the only medal the U.S. has won in Nordic skiing in the Olympics. Former Minnesota Gopher football coach Bernie Bierman will watch Saturday's game at Memorial Stadium against Ohio State from the stands with his wife for the first time since 1932. Bierman, who is somewhat of an institution at the University of Minnesota, has watched the Gophers play ball from the field as coach or from the press box for the past 18 years, but never has sat with his wife for a game. Let's check the Major League Baseball scoreboard. One quick one after 7-4. Cleveland, Baltimore tied at 6-6. Again, that game being held up by rain. Now let's pause for station identification. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is American Forces Radio at 790 and 1420. SCN Terminal Zone.
Ninth inning, with the Reds leading the Dodgers 6-3. Darrell Cheney, followed by Clay Carroll and then Pete Rose. Cheney, who came in to take over for Dan Dreesen in the 7th inning, made a marvelous play to turn Lope's possible extra base hit into a 4th play in the 8th. Darrell, normally a shortstop, but this year, with Concepcion just taking over that job, he has been filling in late innings for Dreesen. Darrell fouls it away 0-1. Cheney hitting only .205. He has a home run and 13 RBIs. Oh, and 1 the count. 6-3 Cincinnati in the 9th. Brewer into the windup. Jim ready and delivers, and he's high. 1-1. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 9th, they have Willie Crawford, Ron Cey, and Joe Ferguson. Brewer delivers. Fastball low. 2-1. The Dodgers have committed 2 errors. One was a crusher. They also mishandled the ball. An extra base was allowed on it, and that contributed. And the Reds have just a marvelous ball. Fastball foul back. 2-2. The Reds timely hitting. They've had the home run by Perez. They had the 3-run home run by Concepcion, and they have made the plays defensively. For Jim Brewer, it's the first time he's pitched since the 14th of July. Fastball is swung on and missed, strike 3. Here comes Clay Carroll. The Hawk has 3 hits this year, 1 RBI, right-hand batter. So Clay Carroll trying to finish it up for Jack Billingham. The Reds leading 6-3. Brewer ready and deals. Fastball swung on and missed. 0-1. 0-1 to count to Clay. Pete Rose on deck. Brew into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch. Screwball over. Strike 2. 0-2. 0-2 to Carroll. Brewer into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch. Fastball got him. Oh, he strikes out 2 in a row, and that'll bring up Pete Rose.
Rose. Left field.
Pete Rose is 0 for 4 tonight. 3 ground balls, and he struck out. Pete hitting right-handed against Brewer. So the Reds 6 runs on 5 hits. The Dodgers 3 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. Screwball low, ball 1. 1-0. 52,337 paid. With over 54,000 in the house. The 1-0 fastball away, ball 2. 54,196 on the scene. Two balls and no strikes. Brewer ready. Here he comes. Fastball in there. 2-1. Two down, top of the 9th. Reds 6, Dodgers 3. Brewer comes back 2-1, and there's a big chopper wide at third. Say gloves it across to Garvey for the out. So the Reds are gone in the ninth, and at the end of 8 1/2, the Reds 6, the Dodgers 3.
A couple of other finals now in the National League. In fact, this is the only game besides that extra inning game in St. Louis or in Philadelphia being held up by rain that is yet to be completed. The Braves blanked Atlanta 9-0. Buzz Capra throwing a 6-hitter to win his 14th. He has lost 8. Randy Jones, the loser, now 7-21. Mike Lum had a grand slammer for the Braves in the first, his 10th of the year. Darrell Evans, a solo shot in the ninth, his 22nd. Houston, with 2 runs in the ninth, defeated San Francisco 5-4. Mike Cosgrove in relief, the winner, 7-3. Ron Bryant, the starter and loser for the Giants, now 3-15. James Rodney Richard, the starting pitcher for Houston, had a home run, the only one of the game in the third, nobody on, his first of the year. Only 1,732 at Candlestick, as they will definitely have the lowest attendance figure of any club in the majors this year. And again, as we told you, after 16, Philadelphia St. Louis tied at 2-2. They're being held up by rain in the 17th.
Well, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning at Dodger Stadium. The Reds sitting on top of a 6-3 lead. Clay Carroll on the mound, and Willie Crawford will start it off. Pedro Bourbon throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. The inside man might be Will McEnany. We can't quite make him out. And Willie Crawford will check in. He flies to center, grounded out twice, 0 for 3. Carroll trying to put the lid on this one now. And a bunt up along the first baseline. It's a good bunt. Morgan Geiger can't make the play. Throws it away, but Willie's going to hold it first anyway. A bunt single for Willie Crawford. So the Dodgers have twice as many hits as the Reds. The Reds have twice as many runs as the Dodgers. In the second inning, grounded out in the fifth, and struck out in the seventh. All 3 of his appearances were against Dillingham. So Crawford with a drag bunt single at first. Then here is Say with Ferguson to follow. Now ready, and the pitch to Say is popped in the air. Joe Morgan, the second baseman, just waiting. And little Joe puts it away. So 1 away, and Joe Ferguson, the batter. Joe has had 3 hits tonight, but he has come up with the base each time, being in the number 7 spot. So Joe Ferguson at the plate. Clay Carroll out of his stretch and works the hitter, and Fergie fouls it back. 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Fergie. Bill Russell on deck. 6 runs, 5 hits for Cincinnati. 3 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Carroll ready, and the strike 1 pitch. Fouled away. Good fastball in on the hand. 0-2. Fergie waiting with Russell to follow. Carroll, a look over at Crawford. Right-hander deals. Fergie swings and misses. His bat goes all the way out to shortstop. So Ferguson strikes out and goes 3 for 4. With 2 out, Bill Russell is not going to come up. Manny Mota will bat for Bill Russell. So Mota will be the 3rd pinch hitter, with Manuel and Hopkins having single.
Number 11, Manny Mota.
Well, Manny Mota coming up. Willie Crawford standing at first, 2 out in the ninth. The Reds now are 1 out away from paring the Dodger lead to 2.5 games. And tomorrow, the Dodgers will send Jeff Zahn 3 victories, 4 defeats against Don Cullis, a 16-game winner. And then Sunday, it'll be Don Sutton and Fred Norman. Stewart beat the Dodgers without Jimmy Wynn tonight. And the pregame feeling was he would not be able to play tomorrow night. So Mota at the plate and Carroll delivers. The strike, 0-1. 0-1 to Manny Mota. Jimmy Wynn is on deck. Capable of going up and swinging once anyway. Strike one pitch to Mota. Inside and hit the bat. So strike two. Manny trying to get out of the way of a fastball that hit the wood. 0-2. 6 runs, 5 hits for the Reds. 3 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers. The Reds have done everything asked of them. They've made all the plays defensively, and they've come up with a clutch hit. The Dodgers have not. And the Dodger error, one of the two, really turned the ball game around. 0-2 to Manny Mota. Cal deal, strike 3 called, and that's that. The Reds win it, and convincingly, 6-3. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Dodgers 3 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. Tomorrow, Gullit and Zahn. And the Dodger lead now 2.5 games over Cincinnati. The Dodgers had a 5-game winning streak snapped, and the Reds have now won 5 straight and 6 out of 7.